place. Fourth get 5. So.
Okay. I do not know why.
Team MVP. First place team MVP gets an Overwatch 1 Collector's Edition. Okay. And the second team MVP gets a Tracer statue.
Is that any better? Keep talking and talking and talking.
That sounds much better. Hello everyone and welcome to the Disconnected Esports Melbourne Mash. I don't know what you're talking about. We didn't do this already. My name is Harry. I'm here with Krez and we have some exciting Overwatch for you today. Not just today, but throughout the whole tournament. Krez, how are you doing? What have we got in front of us here?
Hello, Harry. Pleasure to be here. We are going to be having the first day of the Melbourne Mash going on today. It's going to culminate in the first ever Overwatch LAN that's going to be at Fortress Melbourne. But we've got 8 teams ready and rearing to go and play today because there is going to be competitive prizes available for this, and it's actually going to be a cash prize available too. I'm so excited. And tell me a little bit about the prizes that are going to be on offer for these teams.
Yeah, well, I mean, to start off with, we've got $500 straight away for the first place team, as well as 5 disconnected esports mouse pads thanks to True Apparel. Second place is winning their share of 300 Australian dollars, as well as 5 disconnected mouse pads once again thanks to True Apparel. We then have our third place team, $200 plus 5 starter packs thanks to Blizzard ANZ, as well as the fourth place team getting 5 starter packs. Our first team MVP will get an Overwatch 1 Collector's Edition, and our second team MVP will receive a Tracer statue as well. We're also going to have some giveaways thrown in throughout the entire stream as well. We won't go too in-depth into that, but as you can see on your screen, it's some pretty cool little knickknacks and gifts and things like that that you guys can get as well. So make sure you tune in for the online qualifiers because you don't want to miss out on the bundles and battle passes. And make sure you're there at the LAN event as well as we give away some real nice goodies. Michelle, we have a really exciting game to start off with here. And I mean, Monash Milkers, Swapping Sallies, we've kind of seen a couple of these players in AoE and around the Australian community, but these two teams have something to prove coming into today and into the rest of the tournament.
Absolutely. And again, these are just the first seeding matches of the tournament, but you really want to be doing well. You want to be in those first 4 seeds going into the round robin that they're going to be playing tomorrow. So it really is within their best interest to bring their best gameplay in as soon as possible. And so hopefully we see an amazing game between Monash Milkers and the Swapping Sallies.
Yeah, and like you said, you really want to be aiming for those top 4 seeds. You really want to make it to the LAN so that you have the opportunity not only to win, obviously, everyone wants to win, but just the experience of playing in front of a crowd, of having everyone there. I think that there is going to be enough for some of these teams to really push themselves and motivate themselves to getting towards those top 4 spots. For Monash Milkers, though, I mean, let's have a rundown of this team because I mean, there's some names here that you will recognize if you have been part of the OCE community for a little while. Student over on to that tank role, Patch and Yu on the DPS, as well as Mayak, and Obama taking over the support lineups. And this is an interesting hero pool we've got here, Krez.
I do like that Lifeweaver is being represented on the team. You don't see a lot of people playing Lifeweaver or repping it, so I do like it. But I like seeing those consistent picks there. You've got Winston, proven to be so good over some previous Overwatch tournaments, and of course Tracer as well. Lucio, gets a fair bit of play as well, and I do like Ashe as well. I like Ashe's perks specifically. It has some amazing perks that help just make Ashe a little bit more dynamic, a little bit more usable. One thing to note about these teams is while they do have roles that they have put in, so we see obviously Student on the tank, they are not actually locked to their roles between maps, so they are able to swap things up if things aren't working. Maybe someone's the best Junker Queen player just on the low key, and they can swap that around in between those maps.
Obama going from the Lifeweaver over to the Orisa or something like that would be very interesting to see. But I mean, this isn't the only team that we have in this matchup here, Krez. We have the Melbourne University team, Swapping Sallies coming in here, Stonkwonk on the tank, Ragnar and Swacky on the DPS, and Kabutops and Groggles over onto the supports. And that's a Pokemon spotted there, Krez. That is a Pokemon on the Brigitte.
I do see the Pokemon name, and I do very much appreciate it. And when we talk about how important kind of counter-swapping is to Overwatch nowadays, specifically a little bit jigged up with the addition of perks, making swapping maybe not so good, especially going into our first map of Control. I have a feeling that the Swapping Sallies might be the team that definitely will swap if they need to in order to counter what's on the other team.
Yeah, well, I mean, if their name is anything to go by, most certainly. But this is an interesting hero pool that we see coming out here. I mean, obviously the Winston from Stonkwonk, that's pretty standard, and we're probably going to see a fair bit of Winston throughout the entire tournament here. But Ragnar over onto the Venture as well is an interesting pickup, and Groggles on the Kiriko as well. Obviously, Kiriko still very, very strong, but we do see teams more going towards the Ana style when they are running this Winston composition.
As a fellow Ana enjoyer, I agree. But let's stop talking about these teams and talk about the maps that they are actually going to be playing on through this tournament. So, first up, we will be going to Control, and I believe it is always going to be starting on the tried and tested Lijiang Tower. From then, the teams will have a pick between Dorado, Havana, or Route 66, and Push, Runasapi, Esperanza, or Coliseum. And if we need it, if there is any ties, we will be going to the tiebreaker map that is going to be Suravasa.
Yeah, and I really like this map pool here, Krez. I mean, Lijiang Tower is a staple, like you said. Everyone knows Lijiang Tower. It's a tried and tested. I'm really interested to see Havana, and if any teams actually go to Havana. I know it's not the most popular map in the world, but maybe some Widow duels would be really exciting to see. And, I mean, map 3, they're all push maps, but honestly, I really like all 3 of these push maps.
I do as well, and I think that Push has definitely come into its own, being a map type that was introduced in Overwatch 2. A lot of people didn't like it on release, but I think as more people started playing and as the competitive scene grow, Push became a really fan favorite because it really shows how well you need to take the fights and how smart you need to be with your ultimates in order to win a map.
Yeah, no, 100%. And, I mean, this is where we will see teams... I mean, we always consider control maps more of the, like, whichever team has better mechanics generally wins on control. But then after that, you get to your more teamworky style maps, and that's when we really get to see who has the most cohesion and who's better at breaking down fights, who's better at using their ultimates, like you said. But we also have our hero bans to go through here, Michelle. So let's not dilly-dally. Let's get straight into them here. And Monash Milkers have banned the Sojourn, while Swapping Sallies have banned the Diva.
I think these are really interesting hero bans. I have no questions about why Sojourn was banned. Sojourn is such a insanely good character and can be so oppressive if you have just that one person who only plays Sojourn and is so good at hitting all of their shots. Diva, I think, might be a ban just because it does counter that Winston a little bit, which I do expect that we are going to be seeing quite a lot. And also Diva, so good right now, especially in other game modes. But we're playing 5v5. But again, I think some pretty reasonable picks to kind of be seeing banned. And in terms of hero bans, both teams ban one hero per map, but not on the same role, and each team can also only ban a hero once per series, but they can repeat a ban that the opposing team has chosen. So I think it's really cool that we're introducing hero bans. I think it shows that teams will need to be a little bit flexible. You can't just run the same competition.
Yeah. No, 100% correct. And do you think that the Sojourn ban here from Monash Milkers maybe just shows that they don't actually really want to be over towards those Sojourn comps? Or do you think it's just to, maybe they've seen what Swapping Sallies have done and they're just like, no, don't want any of that. Don't want that smoke.
I think it could be a little bit of both. We saw that obviously Sojourn was a pick from Swapping Sallies and what they might want to do. I don't know how much scrimming they've been doing behind the scenes, but I reckon on your first map, you want to be coming out with a win. And if you think that the other team is going to be good on the Sojourn, I think you just want to be able to get that momentum early. So I think it's a good ban. But what it does mean is when you get to those longer sightline maps, those escort maps, those push maps, that Sojourn will potentially be available for those maps.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. You know, this is a ban that happens really early in the series, and obviously Monash Milkers, they still need to win the second map. So, I mean, is this potentially a ban that comes too early? We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, this being the first match of the day, the first map of the tournament, we don't really know what these teams are about at the moment here. And Swapping Sally's banning the Diva. I mean, Diva is always a safe ban. I think banning a tank is always going to be safe, and if you're banning Diva, you're pretty happy with that. Like you said, it helps with not countering with less counters for the Winston. And it helps out with Tracers as well. I mean, Tracers, they can just be chased down by the Diva. They can be really oppressed, and Diva is a really oppressive hero.
In the right hands, Diva is definitely a hero you need to watch out for. And I think there are also good bans just going into Lijiang Tower, which we are about to do. Of course, we are going to be starting on Gardens right now, but the Lijiang Tower is kind of that map where every single map you can play a different composition. And in order to win, you generally have to be pretty good at all of them.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And that's why Lijiang Tower is one of my favorite maps for Control. There's just so much variation that needs to be done. These compositions are very interesting. We see the Cassidy coming out from Monash Milkers.
We do see the Cassidy. I'm interested to see how that works out for them. Both teams currently running the Smasher. I wonder if it's just going to be to get out of spawn and there's going to be swaps. And there we go. We do see that both of them are swapped. Cassidy's on both sides of the field right now with a Farah from you on the side of Monash Milkers, just trying to tank and put in a lot of damage in the early fight.
Yeah, Student just trying to jostle for position right now. There goes the barrier, as well as now Hughes just looking to try and get some damage fired in here. But so far, swapping tallies, they've done well to mitigate the damage, and they take down Student as well. Ragnar does get traded out, however, and you needs to be careful. Playing a ground fire at the moment, only to be zapped down by Stoneforge, but Obama gets the trade back almost immediately there with an anti-nade. Groggles with a headshot there onto patch 1, and it looks like it will be Monash Milkers who fall here, and Swapping Sally should take this first fight.
Swapping Sally's take that first point, but that was Broly from the start to the finish. Everyone was so low in that first fight, and people were just trading back and forth, but Swapping Sally's just get a little bit ahead, being able to get those first couple of picks before Monash Milkers were able to respond, and they will hold control on Lijiang Gardens.
Yes, they will for now. Ragnar gets quite low, has to go down underground, still quite low, and it's going to have to be an engage here from Student. As Stonkfont already used their barrier. There's the retreat coming in here from Monash Milkers as Yu is just trying to get through. It's an anti-net that comes through, and it's going to be Kabutops who falls first. Mayek does get traded out, but Patching Yu get 2 more kills in the meantime. No supports now for Swapping Sally. Here's Ragnar trying to get the 1v1 onto Obama, but Obama holds long enough for Patch 1 to turn around and get the kill, and it will be Monash Milkers who come back, and they get their first percentage on the board.
Obama might die first at the end of the fight, but it was a really nice anti-nade that actually took down Kabutops, which opened everything up for Monash Milkers to take the point, and I loved Student die first, but no time to stop. There's a fight already going on.
Yeah, Kitsune Rush invested. It's going to be a high noon there from patch 1 just to try and zone out some enemies, but you already got caught out. Groggles just walks out into the Deadeye there. He gets taken down. No support now available here for Swapping Sally's as they take down Mayek, but patch 1 is on a bit of a tear. Takes down Swak as well. Should be able to get the finish here onto Stonkfont before they can retreat, although it will be Stonkfont who just takes themselves out instead.
Really interesting fight there. Groggles tries to take priority and use that Kitsune really early in the fight, but it does not end up working. Gets picked early in the fight. Obama having to invest the nano, but they're going to be coming up on B. They have so many defensive ults with their primal as well. It's going to have to be a very big venture ult from Ragnar or possibly a massive Deadeye coming the other way for them to take this point back, but no!
Yeah, Barrage comes in first, manages to take down Swacky, so there's no even potential for the Deadeye to turn this fight. Primal Rage invested there from Stonkfont as well, despite 2 players already being down. They just have to run away with that. The Angry Monkey has turned around. Now it's just going to be Monash Milkers as they just stabilize a little bit. And they're looking good right now, Prez.
You are so happy if you are Monash Milkers right now. You use your barrage and you completely win the fight, and you also get out the Primal Rage from Stonkwonk. So right now they've got heaps of ults, but pretty much every ult they have is going to be matched by Monash Milkers, who started to work back up towards some of those more important ults. And you gets another pick.
Yeah, Swacky just went down so quickly. Primal Rage now invested by Student, trying to juggle both supports in the room here. Sound Barrier comes in there from Kabutops. They think they can turn this fight and win it, and Ragnar getting Mayek could be the start here of something special. There's a tectonic shock coming through from Swapping Sally's, and now they're coming in towards the point. They're up 2 players at the moment, especially now that Swacky is come back into the fight. Student gets taken down, and it should be clean up here for Swapping Sally's as they finish off patch 1 and get the point flip.
Really nice beat there from Kabutops. They lost a member early in the fight, but they managed to come back and win that one just with the smart beat usage and just able to run and collapse on all of the remaining member of Monash Milkers, and they were pretty ult efficient in doing so too. However, Monash Milkers barely commit anything into that fight. They're going to be coming back with 3 ults, most importantly 2 supporters. I expect we might see a nanoed monkey early in this fight.
Yeah, that is going to be a expectation, but there's a Sound Barrier coming in to try and counter out the Deadeye and the Kitsune Rush. It's actually going to be Swacky who takes down patch 1, but Groggles went down, and there's the nano boost onto Student that you were talking about, taking down Swacky. Now it's just a trade-out fight. Obama gets taken down, but it's going to be Kabutops get traded out as well. Mayek falls. It's 1 for 1, blow for blow at the moment, but seems like Monash Milkers are going to be coming out on top. Stonkwonk does manage to get away. No, not quite. Patch 1 chases them down with a quick tracer swap. Student takes down Ragnar. Groggles, though, takes down Student, so it's a back and forth fight. The point still in favor of Swapping Sally's here, and Swacky's now on the tracer just contesting. They need to try and stay alive. They manage to get their teammates back in time. The point gets flipped over. Overtime Wick is going to start burning down, though. It's 99% to 95%. Swacky almost gets chased down there by Patch 1. It's going to be the recall gets pointed out, but you with the barrage finds both Ragnar and Kabutops, and it should look like now Monash Milkers will win this fight, will win this point, and they'll go up map 1 here, although Stonkwonk with the Primal Rage has something to say about it. Once the Focus Fire gets there, even that 1,000 HP is going to get burnt through by the rest of Monash Milkers, and this is just trickling in now, Krez.
They are just trickling in right now. What an absolutely chaotic fight. I could not tell you who was going to win that at any given point in time. It looked like Monash Milkers had completely secured it, but Swaggy on the Tracer stole that for so long that they actually did get another full team fight. However, it wasn't enough as you just got all of those picks that they needed getting back up towards that barrage and being able to use it in the fight. But oh my gosh, what a chaotic first point of the Melbourne Mash.
That was... chaotic is the exact word that I would use to describe that, Chris. You're bang on the money here. And both teams, they look like they have really good moments, but Monash Milkers, they just seem to be able to pull through with mid-fight ults at the moment. Now we see a massive change in composition. We see the Orisa coming out, and we see the Juno as well. But the Farah still sticking around here for Monash Milkers.
A lot of these compositions right now look like they are going to want to be anchoring on that point. I feel like first cap is going to be so important right here because all you want to do is just not lose that first point after you take first camp. We got Orisa coming out, Remacha. It's going to be a very interesting battle between the tanks. We also have a Mei on the side, which I really love on control center. You can just pepper and you do so much damage and you have a wall that just like splits off the team.
Yeah, that is 100% correct. But look at this already. Monash Milkers, they've gone over towards the point, and like you said, they're just anchoring down at the moment. There's the Icicle block already being utilized. It's great spam damage coming in here from you. Student tries to walk onto the back line here. Doesn't connect with the spear, but they've done enough to separate the team from Stonkwonk, who's getting very, very low. Has already had to use the entirety of their block there. And now, first point capture is going in favor of Monash Milkers. It's going to be a little bit of a contest, and now they have to retreat here. Swaki has done a fair bit of damage in this off angle here on the Freya, but now Stonkwonk gets really, really aggressive. Swaki takes down patch 1, and that is going to be swapping Sally's, who takes the first point. You getting chased down here by Swaki, and it should be a fight win now for swapping Sally's, even despite the re-engagement coming in here from Student. They should be the Orisa
like
falling.
It should just be cleanup,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
And this is what I mean. Taking that first fight is so important. You actually thought that Monash Milkers were going to take that fight first because they were just on the point. But a late engage from swapping Sally's and a bunch of picks gives them the point. And wow, it's really interesting to see all of the chaining and the comboing that Freya is able to do. Look, already almost up at that ultimate. In fact, a lot of ultimates coming online for swapping Sally's, proving just how much healing they did in the fight. Because if you look at anyone's health bar at any given moment, everyone is like under half. It's so chaotic. You can never tell who is going to be taken down next in the fight.
I think this is the first time Stonkwonk has seen their HP at 100. Anyway, as we see the fight coming in, it's Ultimate City at the moment. Both support ults being utilized here from both teams. It's going to be Kabutops who uses Sound Barrier late, and the Blizzard as well gets invested. This should put Swapping Sally's over the top here as they just run over Monash Milkers. It should just be Obama left to fall here. Almost taking down Ragnar in the meantime. Oh no, the stagger on the Juno!
They're staggering, no. That is a really sad stagger right there because you would have been happy with that fight if you all died as a team. Groggles and Kabutops, both of the support ultimates invested, and you're coming back with both DPS. Here we go, and in fact...
You just get 3 with the barrage, just walks in, flies through, and that is going to be 3. And Monash Milkers just clean up the fight. It's a team kill, and they'll get their first percentage. But swapping Sally's, they're already at 80%.
80%, they're almost in that one fight territory, but oh my gosh, you with these Farah ultimates, oh my, Farah ult used to be that ult that you never really want to use because you're always going to die, but with the addition of perks, you has entry fragged with the barrage so many times already.
Yeah, I mean, now they're just looking for entry picks here, but it's going to be Sparky who gets taken down there by Student, and now they've separated Ragnar. Ragnar uses the ice wall there to try and stay alive, and Stonkwonk as well. Use the Annihilation. It's going to be Mayak who uses their rally there to keep the rest of the team alive and to counter that. But, I mean, for swapping Sally's, that was a lot of ultimates used.
A lot of ultimates used, exactly, and you're going to be coming up with your Freya ult as well. You're going to be closer as well on your support ultimates, and I feel like if they want to win the fight, now is the time that they need to be able to do it. They need to not get picked early like they did last fight, and they need to come in and try and get a pick.
Yeah, it's so hard to get onto the point here. They've consolidated this point really, really well. Have Monash Milkers. Patch once again gets an early pick, but there is the ultimate coming out from the Freya. Does catch onto the Brigida, but doesn't get the kill there. Now Swaki needs to try and stay alive. There's the Hinder Grenade. Patch 1 one shot more to get the kill. Does so in the meantime. The Terra Surge was using Maya, cleans up goggles, and that is going to be Swapping Sally's falling again. And now it's dire straits if you are Swapping Sally's.
It's dire straits, but you are going to be coming back with your rush. You might be able to make a play, but Student is just doing so much work on the Orisa, just staying alive and just running into the backline and just negating all of that they can do. It's going to have to be, they're going to have to be really careful because Swapping Sally's just lose so much HP before they even get into the real fight, which we can see right near. Like, Stonewalk almost low has to go into his Nemesis form already, but Juno ult's out.
Yeah, there's the Orbital Strike as well as the Barrage coming out from Monash Milkers, but it's Patch 1 who gets the kill. The Blizzard comes through, does catch onto the fire right here. They do take it down, but Patch 1 has found 3 in this fight. Sound Barrier invested by Kabutops, but no one's there, but it will not matter because the point is going to start ticking down. Overtime will tick down. Map 1 of the Melbourne Mash is going to go to Monash Milkers.
There was a much more decisive win once they took it from Monash Milkers. Once they took it, you didn't even think that there was even a chance that Swapping Sally's were going to take that back from them. They just did such a good job of bunkering down, and they just did so much damage before Swapping Sally's could even get their full team into the fight.
Yeah, I mean, this is Patch 1 towards the end as well. It's just a shooting range right now. Oh, the high noon reload cancel as well. Gee, okay, that's just styling on them just a little bit. Like, you don't need to do them like that, Patch 1. It's the first game.
It was a really good first game, and I think even though it ended up being a 2-0 victory on Lijiang to Monash Milkers, it still was a very close match. It was very scrappy. There was a lot of trading back and forth at any given time. You didn't know which team was actually going to come out on top, except for maybe towards that end there. Like, at first you thought, oh, Swapping Sally's have got this. They're 80-0 on the point. Monash Milkers can't even get on. But once Monash Milkers took that fight, I didn't think they ever looked like they were going to be giving that point back up.
No, it did not look like that at all. And do you think Swapping Sally's are kind of maybe regretting the Diva ban on that map? I mean, if you had a Diva, at least maybe you can go and contest you on the fire, but you just seemed like he was free-firing for most of the game.
You did so good. I can't understate how difficult it is to get value on fire. Sometimes I think with the addition of perks, being able to move during your barrage is so big because you aren't just a sitting duck when you use that. And to be able to get that value, and that's how they ended up capping the point. You get 3 with the barrage as they think they're about to like just walk in and get picks. That just doesn't happen. It completely flips it on his head. And I think a Diva would have been able to help a little bit, but I don't necessarily think they had the wrong composition. It's just that Stonewall just took too much damage on the engages, and obviously like it's a whole team effort, but the tank being on half health before the fight's even begun means you have to back out. It exposes your backline as well.
Yeah, no, you're 100% correct on that call. Stonkwonk was just taking every bit of damage that could be thrown at a tank. And I mean, that's kind of a tank experience sometimes. Sometimes you just walk in and you're just at half health and you're like, well, what am I doing? Why am I playing the game anymore? But I mean, what do you want to see from Swapping Sally's now? Because they seemed like they were a bit exposed by the long range poke and they didn't know how to actually progress forward. What would you like to see, and what map would you like to see them pick?
I think they need to go back to a map, or there's 2 ways that they can approach it that I see. Is they were actually doing quite well in the Winston match, so I think that they should like try it. Well, don't ban Winston is what I'm going to say, and try and pick a map, maybe something like Dorado, where the Winston can be quite useful for those first 2 points. Going into third, it can be a little bit dicey, as we can see the maps that they can choose from. It's going to be Route 66, and I do like Winston on Route 66, yeah. But I think that they need to go back to more of that diver composition, because I think that they got called out a little bit on their more Broly kind of composition. I don't think that the Ram ended up working out for them the best. I think the Mei was a good pick, but it didn't all come together at the end, and they just got stuck in between fights and taking picks early. I think they just need a comp that's a little bit more stable, that can absorb a little bit more damage. Maybe healers that can do a little bit more healing output, because obviously you have the Lucio, so good for the rush, so good if you're coordinated, but if you're not all playing together, the Lucio loses a lot of value very quickly.
Yeah, exactly that. And also the Mei loses a lot of value as well. You never really saw the Mei being that much of a threat. The Mei wall is the biggest thing for Mei, and I don't think we really saw anyone really get isolated by those Mei walls at any point in time, and so it makes it really difficult for that composition to try and close the distance if you're not getting the value from those walls as well.
Absolutely, and as we can see, we're going to Route 66. I'm interested to see what the hero bans end up being. I know that Sojourn won't be banned for this match, so I think it's something that it was probably going to be that Swapping Sally's lean on that a little bit more, because Sojourn on these long sightline maps is just so influential, and it's so good at bursting down a tank. The amount of what you can do there, as we actually do see a substitution
yeah.
coming, which we
Hold
will
on.
talk
This one,
about.
down here, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jaden Bay coming in here for you. So no more Farah. I assume, with this being the case, I assume you is their like designated Farah player. Like this is your role in the team. You are playing Farah.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what kind of heroes Jaded Bay comes out on. It might be that maybe they're the more of the Sojourn play and stuff like that. Now that they know that the Sojourn ban on their side at least is out of the way, might be coming in to maybe pick up that role. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that turns out.
Well, it's even more interesting actually because looking at their lineup here that I've got on my little cheat sheet here, Jaded Bay has actually signed up as a support player. Playing the Ana. So what we might see instead is we might see Obama potentially heading over towards the DPS role here, while Jaded Bay plays the Ana, and they might play the Ana Brigitte style of support on their defense here.
I think Ana Brigitte would be actually pretty good on a map like Route 66. Quite a few little high grounds that you can keep, and obviously having the Brigitte to bodyguard your Ana was always good. And we have seen in tournaments recently that Ana has just become so much more prevalent. Like there was a lot of people saying, yeah, like it's not historically played a lot, but there are people who are good enough at Ana, and Ana has such good perks to make it work.
Yeah, and here are our hero bans. And now, Swapping Sallies have banned Freya. We just don't have an image for it, but I promise you, they banned Freya. We've been told by God himself, Gat, that Freya is gone. So Swapping Sallies getting rid of that DPS, while Monash Milkers, they get rid of the Kiriko. So this definitely points towards Ana being played in this next matchup.
I'm almost certain that both teams will be pretty close to playing that. Ana, I have a feeling that might be seeing Briggs on both sides of the field. Yeah. Freya is a bit of an interesting ban, though, from Swapping Sallies, considering that they did end up playing it on Lijiang Tower, which leads to me, maybe they know a little bit about the Jaded Bay who's coming in, or about the team comp that we're going to be seeing from Monash Milkers a little bit more than we do. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I'm not sure. Yeah, it's a very interesting one. Obviously, Freya, a new hero, don't really know who's really great at her or how figured out this hero is yet.
Yeah, that is true. And also, it could just be that maybe they struggled with playing against Freya compositions on this map when they were doing scrims. They may just have found it difficult to get on top of. Freya has a lot of movement, like a lot of movement. It's hard to pin them down. And so maybe this is just a composition where they were just like, we don't want to deal with this hero. We don't want it. We don't care. Get it out.
Yeah, I completely understand that. And as well as that, you've got to be wise about your ban choices as well. Once you ban a hero, you can't ban it again. I'm not surprised to see no one's banned Winston. I feel like we're probably very likely to see Winston being played here in Route 66. Maybe a Junker Queen coming out, because Junker Queen is just really strong right now. Yeah. But I'm interested to see what the teams do with these hero bans.
Yeah, no, so am I. And honestly, we could have one more map on our hand with this match here. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not any of these bans come back to bite them later on in the series as well. But for now, Route 66, no Fraser, no Kiriko. I'm really intrigued to see what each team can do. And as we get ourselves set up, do you have any sort of prediction that you might want to give about what way this could go?
I feel like the map is going to be a lot closer on Route 66 because, again, these teams did so much trading. And every single fight, most of the time, you'd see, like, trades back and forth, which is going to be really, like, depending on where you are in the map, attacker or defender heavy, which is why I think that I see both teams personally pushing through and we go into some overtime rounds. It's just going to be maybe which team gets more valuable picks, maybe which team has a little bit more time in the bank. But because this seems like it doesn't feel very one-sided. It doesn't really feel like it's going to be one team completely pushing the entire way. I feel like it's going to be like teams capping, but there's going to be like one or two fights and then ultimates will come out, attackers will win, and they will continue to push the point. I hope that it's a close match. I hope that we can maybe see Swapping Sallies come back into this one, you know, get their head in the game and take this match so we can go to push, because again, we say that control and push are kind of those games where rotating your ultimates and playing properly is going to be good, but now on a game mode like Escort, ebb and flows are so important. You just got to play when you're winning. You got to play so good, and then you've just got to like stop the bleeding.
Yeah, exactly. Well, what we're going to see first before we go into our next map is a real quick video from one of our awesome sponsors, True Apparel. And I don't get to normally say this, so Gat, hit it. that. So slick, so cool. True Apparel is your one-stop shop for any sort of apparel, for keyboard, for mouse pads, sorry, is what I was trying to say. And thanks to True Apparel, we are going to be able to give away 5 disconnected esports mouse pads to our first place team, as well as our second place team. That's some pretty cool prizes to go along with your cash money.
It is really cool, and additionally, they're also going to be giving away 5 mouse pads to people who actually show up to the LAN audience at Fortress. So guys, if you're in Melbourne, or if you want to come to Melbourne, you should come to Melbourne, 24th. And try and win some amazing True Apparel gear. Big shout outs to Ace, who is one of the owners of True Apparel, long-time supporter of everything OCE, and their new logo looks so good. They've recently gone through a rebrand where they've completely revamped their logo and all of their designs, and let me just say, it is looking very spick and span. So thank you so much, True Apparel.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be jumping into the audience when they start doing the giveaways out of the caster booth into the audience just for those mouse pads, because they look so good, Krez. And I mean, something else that looks good is this composition from Swapping Sally's, maybe?
I feel like it's a prank, but I feel like they're not going to run out on the Roadhog. But if they do, I'll be very impressed.
Yeah, and we actually see Stonkwonk is the person who's gone over towards the DPS, so no more Stonkwonk tank.
Yeah, so they actually did, they did exactly what I thought they might do when I see the Hog and a Sim TP. They Sim TP out, they try to get a hook pick, but they don't get it, and they go back to spawn and they swap, and we do see the Jungle Queen, which I really do like
Great
in the competition as Student gets pulled in.
Yeah, Student gets very low, but so does Swaki. Again, Swaki gets really, really low. A lot of poke damage coming in from Monash Milkers there. Now they have to try and find a way to get onto this high ground. Another great knife coming in from Swaki. This could be deadly if you are swapping Sally's here, trying to get these picks. They're now chasing down Jaded, who's had to use their recall as well as grab the Mega Health Pack. Now they're underneath the Big Earls here, Prez. They just control all the positioning.
They do, and with the Anti and the Junker Queen, they can basically just get anyone down to 1 as soon as they want to. As I say that, Ragnar does have to back out, getting quite low, is able to not escape in the end.
No, they tried to use the drill dash to get out, but they couldn't. Great sleep dart coming in from Groggles there to save their life for a little bit. Student did get taken down by Swacky, and now the fight has kind of broken to pieces a little bit. Mayak and Obama, though, get taken down there as Kabutox and Swacky just go forward. Stonkwonk gets the kill onto Jaded, and now we're going to see Melbourne University sweeping Sally's here, cleaning up the rest of the fight, and they can push towards point 1. They already gained so much space.
That is so well, and Swaggy is almost already at that rampage as well, and oh my gosh, they just do so much damage. Like with the Mei, the Junker Queen, and the Lucio, and the Arnonate, they could almost just one-shot basically anyone on Monash, because it's so hard for Student to just get in and get value right now. Getting hacked as well.
Yeah, there's the Nano Boost coming on towards the Winston there, but Kabutops responds in turn with the sound barrier. Blizzard online as well, but Student has already gone down. They may not even need to use other ultimates because Swacky is just doing God's work on the Junker Queen right there. Jada gets to stick up the Groggles, but it doesn't matter because point 1 has already been captured, and this is a different look from Swapping Sally's, and they look so much more comfortable.
Everyone just decided they wanted to be Kobe Bryant. That stick on Jaded, the amount of knives we've seen Swacky hit as they like clean up the fight right here, but there was a fight going on, but they'd already capped the point.
Yeah, and now we see Diva coming through as well here for Student, and here are the stats at the moment, and I mean, that just shows how much damage Swacky is doing at the moment. Stonkwonk has the Blizzard on hand. Krez, how do Monash Smokers get back into this?
I don't know right now, and I don't know if it's necessarily the pick, as, again, Swacky just into the backline, everyone's getting low.
Oh my god, Swacky is just putting in all of the work to take down Monash Milkers here. 3 kills for the Junker Queen. They only used 1 ultimate as well. This is looking really rough for Monash Milkers as well. The Bob was invested. Wait, what?
I didn't even see that get invested. Oh my gosh.
I'm shocked at the usage of that Bob there, as we see Jaddy just trying to take down Stonkwonk. I mean, Ultimate's still online here for Swapping Sally's, though.
Exactly, Ultimate's online, and most notably, it's Swapping Sally's almost feel like they're diving more than the Monash Milkers, even with the Diva. The Diva is about to be demegged, taken out of the fight almost instantly.
Yeah, the rally does not save the tank of Monash Milkers here. It's a great anti-nade coming in here from Obama as well. And there's the Blizzard that comes down, catches onto Mayak. It's going to be Mayak going down. Jada did get the stick onto Groggles with the Pulse Bomb, but it will not matter here, especially because Student has already gone down in Baby Diva form. No chance of remeching here. Jada does get Ragnar again, so the Tracer of Monash Milkers is putting in the work. The DPS of Monash Milkers are putting in a lot of work. at the moment. It's a lot of damage being done. Kabutops uses the sound barrier, but doesn't connect onto Stonkwonk here, so it will be Obama taking down the May. The re-engage looks like it could come through here from Monash Milkers now that Student is back. There's the boot, but no! Second point gets captured.
Second point does get captured right now, and you think that maybe it would have been a bit of a waste of a beat from Kabutops, but I think they just really wanted to secure that point. Kabutops got really low. In fact, quite a few members of Swapping Sally's low there, and they just want to make sure that they're pushing this payload forward. As we see Student move over to the Orisa, I like this. I think he just needs to play something that can sit with the supports a little bit better because they are getting caught out right now.
They are being caught out, but EMP is online, and Patch has already gone down. That is not the pick you want to see. Hack onto Student. It's going to be a pretty good anti-nade coming in there from Obama, but will it be enough to curb the aggression? It's a great anti-nade coming out once again there from Groggles, but still unable to finish off any of those kills there. Sleep Dart there puts the Sombra to sleep, so no EMP available at the moment. We see now, though, Swaki gets on towards, once again, onto Obama, but gets taken down a little bit too greedy there, and the EMP gets invested as well. There's no take to follow up on this ultimate here, Krez, and it looks like it is going to be a forlorn conclusion that Monash Milkers win this fight and stabilize for a little bit.
I'm crying, Harry, because in my head, all I wanted to say is they just needed to get Swacky up to that rampage. They combo it with the EMP, and there's almost nothing that Monash Milkers can do, but Swacky goes in a little bit too deep. Ragnar invests the EMP, and now they sit there. They've got their rampage, but nothing really as much to combo it with. Monash Milkers stabilize, and Route 66 can be so hard to cap when you are in this last phase. It's so easy for the defenders to just hold this high ground advantage.
Yeah, there is the rampage coming through
Oh,
from Swacky. It's massive. Obama gets taken down. Kabutops finishes off the other support, but Student does get the trade back here, but it's a 2-for-1 as Patch 1 got taken down. Now Student has to go towards the point. There is the Terror Surge being utilized. Takes down Stompwalk. Student has killed 3 in this fight. Student is single-handedly bringing Monash Milkers back into it. Swacky does take down Mayek, but now Student is the lone warrior here, and Patch 1 comes back, gets the kill into Swacky. Ragnar has to try and run. The invisibility will wear out, but Monash Milkers have been saved by the horse.
I was going to say that was almost disaster for the Monash Milkers. Mike did not get that beat up, but now it's going to have it for that next fight, and the horse is just standing strong on the point, pushes that back, and like I said, it's a scrappy fight. They're both taking picks both way, but now Monash Milkers are so much closer to their defense. They come out of spawn, they're almost there, whereas Swapping Sally's, they've got to walk all the way back, so picks are so much more influential on this when Monash Milkers get them in comparison to Swapping Sally's.
They're trying to hack Jaded here to try and stop them from getting onto Groggles. It's not successful just yet, as we see Swacky trying to get onto the high ground. Has to use the Mega Health back to heal up. Blizzard gets eaten by Student. Student is having a lights out performance right now on the Orisa. It's an anti-nade that goes onto Swacky, so Swacky should get taken down. Groggles does finish off Jaded, but it's going to be a sound barrier invested by Mayak as well as the Nano Boost. So support ult as well being invested here from Swapping Sally's, but crucially the sound barrier stays there. Patch 1 takes down Ragnar, and Monash Milkers once again saved by Student.
Absolutely eating that Blizzard right there. That could have been disaster if everyone got frozen. Notably as well, Obama invests the Nano and has chosen the perk where they also get Nano. So they have so much more sustain, they have so much more life, and right now, Swapping Sally's can't be as aggressive onto them. It just gets speared back.
That's a stick onto Groggles. Jaded once again finishes off the honor of Swapping Sally's. You don't think there's going to be any ults invested, although, as I say that, Kabutops, they use the sound barrier. It's going to be the hack onto Patch 1, cancelling that high noon there. But Patch 1 says, I don't need a high noon to take you down. Finishes off Ragnar. Student does fall, but it's Swacky going down. Patch 1 is having a field day on this Cassidy, and Monash Milkers, they're looking really strong right now.
They invested 2 ultimates into a fight they had lost. I think Swacky's rampage actually got cancelled midway through the animation because I don't think anyone of Monash Milkers actually ended up getting antied. They waste their beat, and now they've got almost nothing. They're forced onto the Orisa to try and play the game that Student is playing, and they get the first pick, but will it be enough?
Patch 1 finally, Reign of Terror has been ended. Ragnar almost gets speared and smeared against the wall there. Kabutops does get Jaded. Finally, they take down the Tracer that's been existing in their backline. It's a great anti-nade there to keep Student alive, but now the Terror Surge comes through as the EMP falls as well. Patch 1 comes back, gets a headshot onto Groggles and onto Swacky as well. The Cassidy still trying to put in the effort. Jaded takes down Kabuto. There's the Blizzard laid down on top of the point, and Stonkwonk kills 3 to try and get Swapping Sally's over the line. They will finish the map in overtime.
And like I said, it is just chaotic on both sides. They're taking picks both left, right, and center. Right there, the May doing so much work there to clean up that Blizzard influential 2 headshot kills onto Monash Milkers players, and they managed to cap it, but it was not looking very good at the start there.
No, it was not looking good at all. And in fact, if you are Monash Milkers, you're probably pretty happy with that 3rd-point defense because Swapping Sally's had 4.5 minutes at the start of that point. So getting it down to overtime is a huge defense, and it took some heroics from Swapping Sally's just to push themselves over the line there. So, obviously, you don't have the win condition just yet, and you'll be disappointed in that, but you can take some solace in the fact that you held for so long.
Absolutely. We see right here that it looks like Student's going to be going into the Monkey, and they're going to try the dive again, where Swacky is like, oh, you played Orisa and did pretty well on the defense. I'm going to play Orisa. And I think that, the Swapping Sally's composition could be a bit oppressive if they... Oh, here we go. We see the swap adventure. I still don't think it really matters. If you can be smart with your Maywells here and rotate all of your heals effectively to Swacky, it could be so hard for the Monash Milkers to push in, as we see them kind of deliberating between a few different dive heroes. We saw Hazard locked there for just a little bit, but back on the Winston for now. Notably, it could be interesting to see an Echo being played, because I think an Echo would be really great into an Orisa, but I'm interested to see how these teams go. It was very close on the offense. Swapping Sally's do push, so they at least will get another push if they need to, but if they really want to be in the series, they want to stop it here. Student gets speared out of the air immediately.
Oh, poor Student. Existed in the air for 2 seconds only to get brought back down to earth. Here's Ragnar on the flank, though. Takes down Patch 1 immediately before Jada can turn around and get any sort of pressure onto that venture. And that's a lot of damage now missing here for Monash Milkers, but they can try and consolidate, get some of this point progress going. Now it's the chase down of the Echo here. Swacky used their Fortify, though, so they're a little bit slow to try and catch the Echo. They do eventually chase down Jaded, and it will be the finishing blow. Ragnar tries to now put some pressure here onto Student as Stonkbonk gets another 2 headshots. Stonkbonk with these icicles has been deadly precise for Swapping Sally's, and that should be the first fight win here for Swapping Sally's.
Stonkbonk heard what you said about the May not being that useful in Lijiang, and it's like, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you how it works. It's so stressful watching the DPS from Swapping Sally's. Ragnar's doing so much in the backline, but when you're playing such a high-pressure hero like Venture, you always get so low. I'm like, oh my gosh, are they going to get out in time? But they do get out in time. They hold the point. No ultimates really being put up anywhere. I don't think there'll be ultimates in this fight right now, but a big dive comes onto the high ground.
It was a huge dive. Lots of poke damage done onto Groggles and finished off there by Jaded and Student. Unfortunately, Jaded might be caught out a little bit, although manages to swoop by, get some healing, and get the health pack as well. Student did get taken down, so they have to play a little bit slower than they probably would like to with this advantage of them not having a support now, and so it's just going to be a little bit of a stalemate, although Jada gets taken down. That's a lot of damage once again missing. And Kabutops gets Patch 1 as well. Krez, it's a full retreat now for Monash Milkers.
It is a full retreat right now. Monash Milkers on the back burner right now. 2 minutes already gone on their time bank. No ults actually really ever being invested. And right now, Swapping Sally's going to be having 4 ults right now, including double supports, where Monash Milkers is going to have their Echo ult and also Bob, but nothing really else until later in the fight, probably.
Yeah, meanwhile, 4 ultimates for Swapping Sally's. There's the Echo flank coming in from Jada. They try and get onto the May, but it's a great use of the Ice Block. Now the duplicate comes in as well. They get onto the Venture. Ragnar has already fallen. So that's a great avoidance of the Blizzard right there from the entirety of Monash Milkers. They still hold on to other ultimates as well. There's the Bob coming in. Tectonic Shock coming out from the duplicated Echo, as well as the Bob invested Terror Surge from Student, trying to finish off the Ana, but it's just dodged around the car. Naya does eventually go down, but Groggles was already finished off earlier in the fight, so it's a bit of an advantage right now. If you are Monash Milkers, Swacky does go towards the Mega Health Pack, so now the Orisa stays alive. It's going to be the Orbital Ray being utilized here from Monash Milkers. They're trying to get on top of the rest of the team. Primal Rage available here for Student if they feel the need to use it, but so far they do not. Finishing off Stonk Wonk is a great start here for Monash Milkers, but they need to finish off Swacky as well. Finally, they do, thanks to the Focusing Beam and Student focusing down that Orisa. Kabutops will fall, and it looks like Monash Milkers will grind through the fight, and they should be able to take point 1 here.
Yeah, they should take the point. That's a really nice wall, actually, to save Groggles, but I don't know if they're going to get another recontest. I think Monash Milkers is too close, but oh my gosh, what a chaotic fight. Ultimates were thrown left, right, and center into that one. I could barely comprehend what was going on in the fight, but what we do see is Monash Milkers come out on top.
Yeah, and they have a little bit more time, but they really need more, and it's so hard to grind down Sweeping Sallies here, Krez.
It really is, and one thing I want to say, Swapping Sallies are doing a good job, but Groggles is getting caught out currently. 9 kills, 10 deaths in the lobby. It seems to be that they're the one dying first, as I just say that.
Yeah, that was a great anti-nade from Groggles, but it meant they were vulnerable, and Jaded and Student follow-up. Stonkwonk fell as well. Kabutops getting very, very low, and Swaki as well just walked towards the point to die, and honestly, that gives a lot more time for Monash Milkers to get back with their slower composition.
I think that something needs to change. Groggle needs to get some help, or like maybe play in a bit of a safer position. Kabutops could possibly even consider swapping over to the Brig or something like that, or maybe having Swacky stay with the Tracer a little bit, because the fights that they are losing are the fights that Groggles is going down early, and they just don't have enough heals once that Ana goes down. That's most of the healing from the composition. As we say, the Student is posed to try and take a dive, misses the jump though, however, and might be a little bit caught out, but has that Primal.
Yeah, they do have the Primal Rage, and now they've caught up to Groggles in the room. Groggles needs help, like you said. There's the peel coming through from the rest of the team, though. But Swacky falls. There's a great juggle there on towards Stonkmonk just to keep the mate out of the fight. And despite this not really getting any kills, it does get a lot of disruption. And the Nano Boost on to or not the Nano Boost, sorry. Just the Orbital Ray, I believe, came down. No, it was the Blizzard. I'm just getting all the ultimates confused right now.
It was a late Blizzard.
Yeah, they capped
thrown into the fight.
Yeah, Stonkwonk using that. You'll want that back if you're Stonkwonk, I think.
Absolutely, Monash Milkers coming up with both their support ults, both such influential support ults. You know, Orbital Ray and Beat, two of the best support ults in the game right now. Stopping Sallies didn't really get a fight on second right now, and they'll be coming up on their ults too, but Groggles needs to stay alive enough to have an impact in these fights. Student is on Orisa. Swacky used his ultimate in the last fight, didn't get anything for it. In fact, I think died during the animation. So, and they need to take an early fight if they want to have multiple fights at this.
Yeah, they will need to take the early fight. There's a spear onto Swacky, and now all the cooldowns get used. There's a Nano Boost coming through, but they missed the spear, so they can't get the finish off. It's a great anti-nade going onto the Lucio there, but it's an Orbital Ray that's going to force the retreat coming in here from Sweeping Sallies. Obama gets on high there, flies up, does a lot of damage, and it's going to be Swacky who falls first. Kabutops with the sound barrier, just too late. Ragnar gets taken down late. Student as well falls late as well. So this is probably a good little trade out here if you are Swapping Sallies, as long as you can get your supports out.
Absolutely, but notably, Mayek does not use that Beat. Both support ults invested by Swapping Sallies, but Beat still on the side of Monash Milkers gives them so much more to work with in the fight. It's going to probably have to be an early pick from Swapping Sallies right now if they do want to hold on to this, and Swacky needs to be careful, and so does Ragnar. If they go low and they die early in this one, it might just be a Monash Milkers capping the point.
It will be. There's the early sound barrier coming through. They want to get aggressive. They want to get on top of Swacky. It's a good retreat actually coming in here from Swapping Sallies. They almost don't lose anyone. Groggles, once again though, falls early, and it's Patch 1 with the headshot. This has been a common theme. Patch 1 getting headshots and Groggles falling early. Patch 1 takes down Ragnar. Swacky did fall as well, and this could be it. There's still a minute and a half on the clock. They're coming up to the golden box of, well, not victory, but completion. They will do it, and they will have an extra minute added to their time. 2 minutes 18 on the clock for the overtime pushes. And if you're Swapping Sallies, you look so good on point 1, but you just capitulate on the next 2 points.
They did so well on their attack and even towards the first part of their defense, but once they lost first point, it was just smooth sailing for Monash Milkers. And again, I feel like something is, Groggles is getting caught up, but also they're throwing ultimates into fights where they're down 1 to 2 people, and then they're not having those important fight ultimates for the next fight that they play in, and it's just really coming back to bite them. I think, you know, once that first, you know, one person goes down, you're probably not going to win that fight. Maybe there's a chance, but when 2 people go down and you're still investing ultimates into a fight, you're just going to be a little bit more heavy-handed on your ultimate key right there.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, we've seen it from both teams, really. We've seen over-investments in ultimates. A couple of times it's paid off. You know, map 1, we saw late beats being used to turn fights, but this map, we haven't seen anything like that.
Yeah, it's been really interesting team compositions, honestly, coming out from both teams right now. I almost just don't even want to look at the team comps before they actually walk out the doors. Malga, I think, would be a really fun choice, but like I said, I think they're just going to be doing a little bit of swapping right now. What I would like to maybe see is Groggles go onto a more mobile hero, maybe such as that Juno, or something else that just keeps them alive a little bit better, because they just get caught out early in the fight. It doesn't really have any help, and then gets picked, and then that's most of your healing gone. And as we do see, they are going to be running out on Juno and Brig instead of the Ana and Lucio that they were running before.
I don't mind this pick. I think this is a good solution to the issue of Groggles dying early, but this Junker Queen is going to be interesting. How are they going to get control of the high ground? They didn't need to last time, but Monash Milkers kind of overextended and dropped down. Eventually, it'll have to happen, but Student on the more survivable Orisa pick could be good here.
Yeah, we do see Swacky move over to the Orisa. It's just going to play into the bunker comp themselves, but I'm interested to see how their compositions work out with each other, because Swapping Sally is generally the team that gets lower quicker, as we see Student just walk into the entire team, and that's a really good May wall right there.
That is a huge May wall. I don't know what Student was thinking there. They go into the room and they get beaten up by the rest of Swapping Sallies. Swapping Sallies have just absolutely decimated through Monash Milkers, and I guess the only good thing for Monash Milkers is you lost that fight so quickly and so together. All of the respawns should be about the same timing. You should be able to get another recontest.
It'd be a little bit close, but I believe with the Lucio, they should make it back. However, you can actually see that Obama's by themselves is already extremely low, and that might make it a little bit more tougher. And as there you go, the supports get walled off right now.
Yeah, but Student will survive. The Orisa is so survivable, and Patch 1 comes through, gets Groggles once again. Groggles has fallen, despite the help, despite the change of heroes. Groggles is the first to fall. Obama does get traded out though, so it's a 1-for-1. Ragnar with the focusing beam takes down Student. Jaded falls to Swacky as well, and despite the man advantage for Monash Milkers, they cannot secure the fight, and ultimates coming up on now for Swapping Sallies, and they're very key ultimates as well.
Ultimates are going to be coming online, going into the streets trade. The good news is the Monash Milkers, they're going to actually take a little bit of time to get back, and you can see Swapping Sallies, they're going to be coming up on 5 ults right now, and if they can use some of their ults first, I think you do need to just push this cart as far as you can go. It's not really about being the most ultimate, it's about getting picks, and if you can't get those picks, using those ults so they get off the point. You need as much distance as you can, especially given how quickly Monash pushed through these second 2 phases.
Students used all their cooldowns here. We could see Swapping Sally's trying to get aggressive on towards Student here. There's the Blizzard already being utilized. Student gets into the back line, but it's a Terror Surge. Cuts up Student. Student gets taken down. It's going to be the rally invested as well here from Swapping Sally's as Kabutops just tries to keep alive here. The duplicate comes through. They're trying to keep themselves in this fight here. Ragnar comes out of the duplicate, gets taken down there by Patch 1, who already used the Deadeye as well. Patch 1 finishes off Ruggles. Obama takes down Kabutops as well with the orbital ray here. Somehow, without a tank, Monash Milkers will win this fight, and they will hold Swapping Sallies on this second point.
I think it was just a difference in who the Echoes copied there. We saw Swapping Sallies copy the Cassidy in order to get a little bit done, but immediately taken out of copy, whereas Jaded copied the Orisa and was just able to stay alive, and just having 2 tanks on the field is just so influential, but it's not a bad push from the Swapping Sallies. They had such a good first point defense here on Route 66, so if they can pull off the same defense that they pulled off before, they should theoretically be able to hold this one. They just need to play smart, and again, we just saw so many ults invested. It's so hard to figure out who is doing, who's going to win fights so early, because they are just so scrappy. It seems that they're trading back and forth, and then ultimates come down. You see 4 to 5 ultimates from each team coming down in each one of these fights.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly right, though. But Monash Milkers, they just had to wait for those ultimates, right? And so when they get them towards that final moment, you almost can just see that they're just pressing go, and Student not being there and still being able to turn it with those ultimates shows that this team is really, really good at communicating what they need here, Krez. But surely we're not going to see Reinhardt.
I'll be interested to see if we see Reinhardt. I mean, it's 6 seconds to go, so I think they actually will be running it because they're the defending team, so it means that they have to be.
Is this a spawn camp?
We saw the stats getting flashed up right there.
Oh, they're right there.
Quickly.
They're right there. They don't know.
Yeah,
they don't know.
They're playing close.
They've come out of the right here. Patch 1 has just been taken down. Ragnar does get finished off there, though, by the Juno. The Immortality Field has already been utilized as well, and this spawn camp has gone horribly wrong as Swapping Sallies just get picked apart here by Monash Milkers. And, I mean, they do buy some time off of the clock. So, I mean, that's really all you wanted to do, I guess, is just get time off the clock. And now you swap over to the Orisa. You swap Groggles back over to the Juno.
I don't think it's too bad. I think they had a really good first pick, but then they just couldn't pull it together and pick off the rest of them. They got a little bit split right there. And they just need to be careful here, because if they lose this point and they don't get too much of a fight, that is going to be the danger territory for them. They need to stay healthy. They need to get back onto that high ground. And they somehow need to push through, and I honestly think they do really need to just hold on this first point or they're in danger. They forced Student out early fight though.
That's good. That means they can try and consolidate some positioning here, and if you are swapping Sallies, you want to try and get back on towards that high ground just to deny it from Monash Milkers, and especially Patch 1, although Jaded finds Groggles again. Groggles has died first so many times right now, it is not funny. Jaded gets 2 early in this fight. Obama takes down Kabutops, and this is now a free fall here for Swapping Sallies as they seem to just be falling to pieces. They'll once again get some time off the clock by fighting on the cart, but it will be a fight win here for Monash Milkers, and they will cap this first point.
They are going to cap this first point. They just need to regroup for a second. But the problem is when you play that spawn campy strategy, you have to swap off. Monash Milkers are so ahead in ultimate charge right now. The closest person to their ult on the side of Swapping Sallies is Stonkwonk at 88%, whereas everything's coming up for the Monash Milkers. They've swapped over into the Sojin as well. They're going to have Railgun available probably for this last fight, which is just going to melt through that Orisa, and the Orisa's playing so far up right now.
Yeah, I was going to say Swacky seems to be called out. Good Maywall, actually, to be able to heal up Swacky a little bit. They do have the Terra Surge available, and we did see the duplicate as well get used and then taken down immediately. Patch 1, though, gets Groggles. Groggles has once again gone down. Stonkpunk falls before they can use the Blizzard. The rally gets invested here from Kabutops as well. They do take down Jaded, but they're going to be able to get any more. And with the Terra Surge not getting anything, things are looking from bad to worse here for Swapping Sallies. It's a sound barrier coming in from Mayek here. The duplicate from Ragnar was invested as well. Ultimates galore here for Monash Milkers, but they don't, for Swapping Sallies, but they don't win the fight. And now they only have the Blizzard.
They do only have Blizzard, and I don't know if they're going to be able to get touch right now because Student has that Primal. They are walking in close. It's going to be the Doomfist coming out from Swaggy to try and get the touch, but Groggles again dead too early in the fight.
Wait, Mayek goes down. They got the touch onto the point, and the Blizzard came down as well. They managed to get 2 more picks, so Jaded has fallen. It's going to be Patch 1 taking down Stonkwonk. The Doomfist still available here and alive for Swacky. Ragnar needs to try and stay alive as well. Here, they do get taken down there, though. Patch 1 finishes off Swacky. Monash Milkers will win your first game of the Melbourne Mash 2-0.
2-0, but it was close. Swapping Sallies almost felt like they could have had the comeback win right there. As we see the stats going up there, I think it was unfortunately just a case of Groggles just getting a little bit too caught out. You see at the end there, finishing 16-19. So 19 deaths over the course of Route 66. And it just goes to show that maybe they just needed a little bit more support from the team. But once you lose your main healer, it's so hard to win a fight because you are simply just getting less heals than the other team.
Yeah, it's a really rough time for Groggles. I mean, like, it didn't seem to matter where they were. Someone was finding them. They could play all the way back and they were being picked by Jada. They could play forward and they were being killed by Patch 1. They could play somewhere in the middle with their other support, and Student was somehow getting on top of them and finishing them off. I mean, it seemed really well executed there from Monash Milkers. They identified that there was something that they could exploit and they exploited it, and unfortunately Swapping Sallies just couldn't actually find a way to adapt to that, and unfortunately it leads to them losing their first game here at the Melbourne Mash. But they have plenty of attempts to try and get themselves back in, and we did see some promise from them throughout this game.
I do think that we see a little, like, not a little bit, a lot of promise from the Swapping Sallies. That I think there's just small things that you need to work on. It's like, how can we keep Groggles alive a bit better and not throwing ultimates into fights that potentially you've already lost. But we have also heard that all of the round 1 have been completed, so we will be able to move on to round 2 shortly. But congratulations to Monash Milkers, a pretty decisive victory overall.
Yeah, no, it was pretty decisive in the end. You go away with a 2-0 scoreline. You know, you had to fight a little bit, especially on that second map, to try and get there. But, I mean, they look good. They look cohesive. They look like they're using their ultimates well. They look like their individual skill is up to the task. And, you know, this is going to be a really exciting team to keep an eye on in the standings and see whereabouts they're going to finish and whether or not they can make it towards our land.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see. Guys, we are going to be going to a quick break, but stay tuned because round 2 coming up, we've got more exciting games to be playing.
Yes, we do. And make sure, guys, to do ! giveaway in the chat so that you can get your chance to enter into the Battle Pass giveaway. You will definitely want to be part of that. We will see you after the break. we are back after an exciting game one between Monash Milkers and Swapping Sally that ended in a Monash Milkers victory 2-0. Krez, it was an exciting game. We did forget to mention one thing, though. Who is our MVP for that first game?
We had a little bit of deliberation in the break, but we are going to be awarding the MVP to Student of the Monash Milkers just for that clinical performance on Winston. But I think the ability to be able to change and go Orisa when things were going a bit awry and be able to stop, stabilize, and firstly almost completely stop the Swapping Sallies from even capping on Route 66 was really good. And then still being able to go back to that Winston on the attack when they needed was really good. Again, with that, like, had Primal Rage, almost stopped them from even touching the point. So we're giving it to the Winston player.
Yeah, and I mean, a little bit biased as a tank player here. But yeah, it was a great performance from Student. I mean, when you have a highlight on Orisa that I can visibly remember, then yeah, I'm pretty impressed by you as someone who is not a very much a Orisa fan, I guess you could say. But we do have more games to come on with, but before we go into that, let's remind our audience here what these teams are playing for, Krez.
Absolutely. So these teams are going to be playing for a cash prize pool at a Melbourne Mash Fortress LAN that is going to be hosted in a couple weeks' time. First place coming home with 500 Australian dollars, as well as 5 disconnected esports mouse pads provided by True Apparel. Second place, $300, as well as those mouse pads from True Apparel. Third place, a respectable $200, and fourth place, getting those starter packs as well. Those starter packs provided by Blizzard. Thank you so much to True Apparel and Blizzard for sponsoring the Melbourne Mash this year.
Yeah, and not only that, we have some giveaways to give through here. So we have the Doki Watch bundles for the online qualifiers, as well as the Ultimate Battle Passes. And at the LAN event, you'll be able to get 5 disconnected esports mouse pads, once again provided by True Apparel, 3 Ash keychains, 3 Overwatch cinematic art books, and 20 Doomfist pop keychains. And I mean, like I said, I'm going to be hopping into the audience just for those mouse pads here, because True Apparel is a long-standing partner of Disconnected and has a massive range of merch for a range of all your clothing needs, really, from jerseys, streetwear, athletic gear, and more. The store has so much variety, and they provided, like we said, all of the Disconnected esports mouse pads that we are giving away and giving to our first and second place teams. Also, massive thank you to Blizzard ANZ for working with us to create better grassroots event opportunities for all of you. They've continuously worked with us and are keen to provide many goodies for everyone. And like we said, they are giving away not only the Doki Watch bundles and the battle passes as well for stream audiences, they're giving away 5 starter packs for third place, as well as 5 starter packs for fourth place, and goodies for first and second place MVPs, which, if I remember correctly, second place MVP will get a Tracer statue, and the first place MVP will be getting the Overwatch 1 Collector's Edition. So some really great prizes, and thank you so much to our sponsors for sponsoring this, honestly, landmark event for amateur oceanic events, really. It's something that we haven't seen before.
Big shout outs to Blizzard and True Apparel. If you guys haven't already, we are running those Doki Watch and Ultimate Battle Pass giveaways. Today, there'll be 2 Doki Watch bundles and 2 Ultimate Battle Passes, exclamation mark giveaway in the chat if you haven't already. And big shout outs to the sponsors of the tournaments. But let's get talking about the teams that are going to be playing in our round 2 robin of the Swiss rounds on day number 1 of the Melbourne Mash.
Yeah, I mean, match number 2 is looking like another absolute banger. Monash Merchants are going to be taking on Dougie's. I'm honestly really intrigued to seeing how Dougie's are, because I know a few of these names. I think you know a few of these names as well. Dougie's have been around for a while, but I don't think that this Monash Merchants team is going to lie down and just lose, that's for sure. I think we're going to be seeing a whole lot of competition here, but let's go through our team here of Monash Merchants.
From the Monash Merchants sister team to the team we just saw earlier, we have Jojo on the tank. We have the DPS of, I am going to get this so wrong, but is it Pib Fib?
Plib Flib.
Plib Fib. Plib Flib?
Plib Flib.
We've got Mikkel as well on DPS, and rounding out the support line, we have Harasio and Dino.
Yeah, I mean, this composition, honestly, the heroes that they've chosen here are very interesting because you don't normally see. I mean, you don't normally see the Ana going along with the Junker Queen here, but Ana, as we've seen and as we've stated, very strong at the moment in a very good position. So it's not too surprising that there is someone on Monash Merchants who prefers the Ana, and also Ana's just a lot of fun to play. But it will be interesting to see whether they try and stick towards these brawl compositions more so than the dive style that we saw a lot more of in our last map. But let's not get too caught up with Monash Merchants because we also need to look at Dougie's as well. We haven't seen them for a while. Broodstrike taking over the tank role. Toba the Hobo and Hexel on the DPS as well. And Jarman and Party 14 onto the support. And I am being informed that I got a name wrong. It's Broodstrike, not Broodstrike. So apologies for that. But oh my God, this is a team in my nightmares.
Yes, I do recall, just queuing up Overwatch, meeting a couple of these gentlemen and people in the queues, and it's always very fun to see them. Of course, all of them have been around OCE for quite a while. I'm looking at you, Party 14. In the game playing Genji in my lobbies. Really cool team. But notably, like looking at, I don't know if they've actually picked the characters they like to play because I don't think I've ever seen Party on Mercy, but that's okay. And I don't know if Broodstrike does really like Roadhog, but Toba the Hobo checks out. Like, the name for a Junkrat player. I'm not too surprised on that one. But both of these teams are actually going to be chasing their first win. They actually both lost their round one matchup. So I feel like both of the teams really, want to be doing well in the Swiss rounds. So hopefully we're going to see some amazing gameplay. As again, we will start on Lijiang Tower. Losers will pick the next map going over to Escort, which will be Dorado, Havana, or Route 66, and finishing it off, hopefully we maybe get to map 3 today, will be Coliseo, Esperanza, or Runasapi.
Yeah, and again, we've kind of discussed these maps here. We didn't see any Havana or Dorado, and obviously Route 66 is probably the most important map to discuss. It's probably the most popular map to discuss. But Lijiang Tower starting off here, I mean, we saw two different styles of compositions, Krez, in our first match. And is that something that you expect to see again coming into our second match?
I do expect to see it again. Like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, Harry.
No, exactly. I mean, to be fair, we don't know if it's broke for these teams. We have absolutely no clue. But both of these teams lost their first game as well, Krez. So they're looking to get some retribution and looking to get a win on the board.
Absolutely. And I just want to say, before we get into the match, we are actually going to go to a quick ad break. So we will see you when the match is about to start. But it's going to be a very fun one. It's going to be a bit of a match where these two want to stop a losing streak and make sure that they set themselves up for a great rest of the tournament.
Yes, we are waiting to see if they can do that. And Gat, take it away. We're back, guys. Ad break is completed. And honestly, now that I've seen that ad break a couple of times, I think I'm going to go over to the True Apparel website, maybe cop one of those clean, disconnected esports jerseys. But first, before I do any of that, we have to go over the hero bans because they're massively important. We've got to go quickly. We have Winston and we have Juno being banned. Krez, what does he say about either team?
No monkey and no space person in the game. Thank you.
Beautiful. Absolutely wonderfully summed up there. But that makes it interesting because it means that Ana is in play and Kiriko's in play. We are going to see rush compositions coming out from both teams, but more Storly rush from Monash Merchants, whereas the Ramatra coming out from Dougie's.
I'm not really surprised with either of these compositions. I think they are about what you would expect. Lucio, Curie, just an amazing rush composition support line, and we do have Broodstag on the Ramatra and Panda on the Orisa. So kind of a little bit of a mirror for what we saw in the last match, but I wonder if maybe Dougie's can show that Ramatra can be really good on control center in Lijiang Tower, as we see Mickle diving.
Yeah, Mickle misses the slash, though, onto Toba the Hobo, so Toba just kind of flies away there. Now it's just a TPS having a dual 1v1. But in the meantime, there is a fight on the high ground, and it's going to be Panda trying to push into the backline here. Broodstike gets into the opponent's backline of Monash Merchants, and then turns around and finishes off Panda with a punch in the face. Toba the Hobo takes down Mickle, so the DPS 1v1 was won out by the Farah. Hexel will take down Harrisel, and that is a nice first fight win there for Dougie's. Monash Merchants will fall.
A big difference we're seeing already is both teams running the Sojourn on Control Center, something that was not available to them for the other teams that just played, and showing just how much damage they can lay in. I actually think Dougie's have a slightly better team composition right now because Sojourn just gets so much free rail charge off of an Orisa. Like, it's basically free right there, and you can just put in the damage either into the Orisa or another member of the team. And right now, Broodstike doing a really good job of holding space right now and not letting them in too early, but Panda comes in.
Yeah, Panda just clears the way like a football linebacker right there. Broodstrike now has to use their block just to try and back away, but Party finds Dino there, so that is the first pick coming through from Dougie's. And then Broodstrike just walks back in again, takes down Pib. Harrisel gets the charge shot there, takes the charge shot, I should say, from Hexel. Party getting another kill. Dougie's once again will win this fight, and they're looking pretty comfortable at the moment, Krez.
They are looking quite comfortable. Party getting the first pick on the opposing Lucio in Dino right now, and they're going to be first to their ultimates, but it is going to be a case of, we saw last time, getting to 80 first doesn't really mean much if you invest everything in there and then lose. As Toba the Hobo goes low.
Yeah, barrage is not going to happen. Denied there by the Orisa. There's the Terra Surge coming through. Catches onto 3 members. Panda gets kills onto 2 of those. There is the Kitsune Rush being utilized, as well as Pib finishes off 2 as well. Lots of ultimates being utilized by Monash Merchants, but they will get the point flip.
Dougie's do put in their Kitsune Rush, but they do keep mostly everything else. Just unfortunate right there, as we saw. One big ultimate when you're walking in to try and do that staggering can just change everything. Panda there with the big Terra Surge and now holding up close, but let's see what Dougie's can get done in this fight.
Oh my goodness, Toba the Hobo is not being allowed to play the game right now. Great spear. Now it's going to be the sound barrier from both teams as the overclock was utilized there from Dougie's as well. Hexel doesn't find anything, and Monash Merchants, they don't feel the need to try and get aggressive. They'll take this win and go, and they have the blade coming up.
Absolutely. Dougie's already used their overclock and their down barrier. There's no point taking another fight, but maybe there was, because Hexel's gone and gotten a kill.
Yeah, in saying that, though, it's going to be Broodstike who tries to walk forward there with the Annihilation, catches onto 3 members there as well, and that's again, Pib does get a kill back with their ultimate, but Mickle doesn't get the chance to use theirs, so they come back with the Genji Blade still available.
Really clean plays. Broodstike really low for almost the entirety of that Annihilation ult, but manages to stay alive for long enough, gets all of the finishing blows, and it's going to be a bit of a reset. Notably, Mickle still has half the blade, so can make something happen because no ultimates will be on the board early. Here it is.
Hexel falls as well, but the Dragon Blade, it's a sad Dragon Blade. There's no one to slice, there's no one to dice, no one around whatsoever. Now it's going to be Party getting back on towards the point to not allow the flip as 99% is building up towards the number there. Toba the Hobo gets Dino as well, and despite the old advantage being in favor of Dougie's, Toba the Hobo has decided that he's going to take it all into his own hands here, as no one can get back towards the point, and it is going to be Monash Merchants who lose this first round. Dougie's will go up 1-0.
Really smart plays right there. You thought for maybe a second that Broodstike would have been caught out, but gets a little bit of support from the team and manages just to stay healthy, and notably takes 2 of the Monash Merchant players off the point, so they don't even get that recontest there.
Yeah, and even if you did get the recontest there, I mean, you were fighting without a support and a DPS. It was going to be really hard for Monash Merchants to actually even try to get back into that. Now we go over on towards Night Market here, and the composition changes are already coming through.
Night Market, a map we didn't actually get to see in the last series, so it's going to be interesting to see what they run at, and I think we're going to be seeing the double sim to get the team there quicker. I wonder if we'll see a swap, because Night Market, there you go, both swap, but Night Market's probably one where you can make that sim work, but they both decide not to, and we are just seeing the battle of the Orisa versus the Ram tank line right now.
Yeah, Panda trying to just separate the rest of the team from the Ramatra here, but now Broodstike turns around, tries to get back on top of Panda and just make sure that they're not pressuring this backline too much. It's a good little sandwich coming in here. The Suzu has to come through just to keep Hexel and Party alive, and now they have to try and regroup towards the choke point here. Boot Strike is already on the point, and Dino just gets a little bit too aggressive there, gets taken down. Hexel, though, traded out as well, so it's support for a DPS, but Harrisel finished off. Toba the Hobo has been left completely unchecked right now, and has just been allowed to do all of the damage in the backline here. Nice little finish off there onto Mikkel, as well as Dougie's will take the first, the point capture once again, and they're looking really strong with this Farah being uncontested.
Toba the Hobo proving that justice does indeed reign from above, and just wasn't looked at for that fight. Manages to secure the picks. Lots of people on Dougie got low, but not finished off. And right now, again, we're in a point where not a lot of ultimates boot up from either side. You know, 60% the most we can, as Hexel just gets taken out. That might just be a quick reset from the side of the Monash Merchants before we can even have a real fight.
Yeah, 2 kills there straight away from the Sojourn of Dougie's. Ends this fight before Monash Merchants get through. 40% and counting, and Krez, it's not looking good if you're Monash.
It's not looking good right now. It's going to be an ultimate fight coming up next. I was just talking about how no one really had ultimates ready, but now because of that quick fight, Dougies are going to be coming towards most of their ultimate. Most notably, Dino is only 46% of the way to beat it. It's going to be so behind on that beat, which is such an influential fight as Dino goes in a little bit deep and is
yeah, well, I mean,
dispatched from the lobby.
Yeah, and in the meantime, I mean, the Casino Rush happens, and I mean, Dougie's have just absolutely steamrolled Monash Merchants once again. It's a team kill. I mean, the good thing for Monash Merchants is these fights are happening so quickly that you're getting more of them as you go along.
And you know, they do use the rush. Unfortunately, they're coming up on 4 other ultimates, but Monash Merchant will have 4 ults of their own to use, notably that Kitsune Rush. But I'm just so scared to see if Toba the Hobo maybe just kills 1 or 2 with this barrage and then that it's lights out. So let's see what happens right here.
Well, there's a Deadeye. Pib takes down Toba the Hobo, so finally the Farah goes down, and then Pib as well gets Hexel, takes down Party as well. Pib has now decided that it is their time to step up, and they have stepped up indeed. It will still be 99% accrued here for Dougie's, but there's a little bit of life still for Monash Merchants. It's just a 5 kill for the Cassidy of Monash Merchants.
And notably, they only actually had to use their Deadeye to take that fight. Dino's still 75% of the way to beat, but almost getting there. Party's going to have it slightly earlier, but they only have to use 1 ult to take that back. And Panda gets a really quick pick onto Toba the Hobo. So Dougie's actually are losing a little bit of time here. They have a lot of ults, but again, I think it's just going to be chaotic. I think you're just going to see 4 ults probably from both teams thrown out there, and you're going to see who comes out of the ashes afterwards.
Yeah, have you ever seen a horse take down a fighter jet? Because that's what we're seeing at the moment. Oh my goodness, not again! Turbo Horse gets taken down. Once again, the anti-air horse is in full effect right now, but Dougie's, they built up all of their ultimates. They're going to be looking to come through. Tobo, once again, has a lot of pressure put on. There's the overclock coming through on the high ground there from Hexel, trying to get the finishing blow. Can't quite get it, but it's going to be Toba the Hobo who finishes off Pib. Terra Surge comes through, doesn't connect onto anything. There's the stick as well as the barrage and the sound barrier from Dougie's is utilized over the top of each other. All of the ultimates are coming through, and Dougie's, it's just too much for Monash Merchants, and it will be map 1 going in favor of Dougie's quite dominantly.
I'm absolutely shocked how Hexel managed to live there, because got stuck with a pulse bomb, was in an Orisa ult, but somehow I think with the beat and a bunch of team help combined, manages to live there. As we do see Pib actually take out part of the game for that really amazing Cassidy play, which was pretty much the only time where you thought Monash Merchants was actually in control right there. Just doesn't manage to get behind the shield, Toba the Hobo, and then we just see a couple of heads being clicked from Pib, but again, a dominant display from Dougie's.
We're going to call that a Pib moment from now on. I'm coining the term. I'm coining the phrase. We're going to see it throughout the rest of the series. He's going to get like 4 more of them throughout it, I believe, in the Cassidy of Monash Merchants. In saying that, though, Monash Merchants didn't really have a lot to write home about in that map. It seemed pretty dominant for Dougie's, and the only time we really saw them lose fights was due to just some either overextension or some random hero play that comes out from Monash Merchants.
It was a pretty decisive victory from Dougie's, but I think Monash Merchants still had some moments. I just don't know if I think that Orisa pick maybe worked. I think, like, in the first match, we thought, oh, Orisa was so good in there, the Ram couldn't do much at all, but just really good work from Dougie's to just keep that Ram up and just always threatening.
Yeah, no, it was always threatening, and I mean, Dougie's just kind of walked into the backline a lot of the time, and then once they chased the backline away, they turned around and Panda was dead. Panda was really having a hard time staying with the rest of the team. So if you are Monash Merchants, you kind of need to find a way to keep Panda from getting either pushed away from the rest of the team, or you need to find a way for the rest of the team to not be forced away by a single player from Dougie's. Because, I mean, I know Ram is good, and I know that the power block is very good, but you shouldn't have 4 other players being forced to retreat because of one tank.
I agree, and I honestly think that this might culminate in maybe Ramacho actually getting banned for the future. I don't know if maybe it's worth it so much just because we are going on to escort maps where I think Ram does struggle a little bit more. Obviously, you want something that can take high ground. We know that Winston will come back into the pool. We didn't really get to talk about the hero bans, but obviously no Winston in the first match because banned, but will be back from map 2 onwards. However, notably, it was the Monash Merchants who actually banned the Winston. They were like, I don't want to see the Winston from the team. And it ends up just biting them because I think in those pokey compositions, they absolutely just could not get through that Ramatra. So I'm interested to see if actually Dougie's bans Winston and they have 2 games of no Winston playing. But I think we might see Winston being played probably in the second.
I would probably agree that we are going to see Winston being played depending on what map we go to here. I mean, it is Monash Merchant who can pick the map, and it is Route 66 again. We're not going to see Havana in this map. I'm so sad. I
honestly just wanted to see a map that wasn't Route 66, but I'm going to be honest, if I'm looking at that map pool, I don't like playing on Dorado, and I don't like playing on Havana either, so I would probably pick Route 66 as well. But I actually do wonder if maybe we just don't see Winston, and we just see, because I guess if your Dougies are like, why? We did so well, we were so dominant on that pokey composition, but again, let's just hold it on the team cards because we're actually going to look at the hero bans.
Yes, we are indeed. And it is Diva being banned from Dougie's and Farah being banned from Monash Merchant. So they've had enough of Tobo. They've obviously had enough of Tobo the Hobo being allowed to do whatever they want on the Farah. No Diva, though. Does this mean, and now this could be completely wild and I could be so off base, Tobo the Hobo could play Junkrat?
Or Tourbillon. I don't know.
Or
I feel like I'd like to see a tour being played, but I think maybe Junkrat could be played very good on those spammier sections of Route 66. Honestly, not even a bad pick at all. If you know how Junkrat's gun works, and I don't know how Junkrat's gun works. I've been playing Overwatch since Season 2 of Overwatch 1, and I have no idea how to fire Junkrat's gun. For me, it's just a spray and pray. But I know there are a lot of people who actually do know how Junkrat's gun works. So maybe Tobo the Hobo can do that. But I so agree with banning that fire pick because I think what they struggled with was the rest of the team is all on the floor, and they're all trying to fight, and they're trying to isolate people on the floor. And then you just have a Farah cross-map shooting you, taking so much damage. And I think that they just struggled to kind of pivot between doing damage to the tank, which of Ram, and then also doing damage to that Farah. So now, mostly, unless they pick an Echo, nothing is going to be flying around in the air.
Yeah, that is true. And you know what? As much as I am a bona fide Tourbillon hater, like that thing is being banned every single time I play the game from now on. You will not see a Tourbillon in my lobbies. I think it is a good pick. I think it is a great pick to assist in any of that poke style composition that you want to play. It's so survivable. There's so much damage. The turret is just really, really annoying. So I could really see the Tourbillon pick coming through here. And it is exactly like you said. And we see some Zenyatta being played.
Harry, I just want to comment on that fan. It's called the number 1 fan because I'm your number 1 fan.
Oh, shucks. You're making me blush.
All right, but getting into this game, we've got Dougie's who will actually be defending first, it looks, and the Monash Merchants will be attacking, and hopefully we can see Monash push this payload far. As we can see, we actually have Brood Strike on the Sigma, which is going to be really interesting, and actually when you look at Monash Merchants teams, I really like the Sigma into their team, because having a shield and eat against a Winston and a Sojourn is going to be so important, and oh my gosh, Tracer just gets 2-tapped by, like, Sigma. It's crazy.
Yeah, look, Mikkel is probably going to struggle and should probably swap very, very quickly. I mean, this composition from Dougie's is going to be so hard to break through.
And they're playing Torb!
So much damage. Yes, there's a Torb. There is a Torb.
Tobo the Hobo was listening to the stream. All the turrets destroyed early there. And actually taking a little bit of damage, but we actually don't see Brood Strike holding that first corner. It's just going to continue to hold that high ground right now as Panda goes in, but immediately gets Discord. Is already half health, stunned on the floor and dead.
Oh my god, that is the main tank experience if I have ever seen it. It's so hard for them to jump in here with Tobo take down Piv and Party finish off Mikkel, and I mean, it's so hard for Panda to even try to dive in here because he's just surrounded.
I think that it wouldn't have been too difficult had Party not been on the Zenyatta. I feel like just getting that Discord onto the Winston just means that he absolutely melts, and until you have stuff like your first couple of perks and also your Primal Rage, you basically just do die instantly. So I'm wondering if we might see Panda change, but I think they're going to give it one more go. Already on the high ground now, jumping in, puts the bubble down and is immediately stunned and dead again. I think this is going to be a possible swap.
Harrisell gets taken down as well. Yeah, it has to be another swap. And I mean, in the meantime, Douggies are building up ults as well. Broodstrike, 80% to their ultimate here, Krez.
Again, when you're playing Sigma and you're just hitting all of your left clicks, it's just so easy to immediately get your Graviton Flux. I've seen Sigmas get ults and they've got 0 kills just because they put so much damage in and force the other team out. Actually, as we can see, Panda has swapped over the Hazard, a hero we have not seen today, but I am excited to see. Has a lot of movability, a bit of a Brawl and a Divey tank, but they are starting to push the payload right now. Broodstrike just going to continue to hold that high ground, else the wall gets deflected off.
Yeah, the wall gets knocked down, and we see Jarman as well has now repositioned a little bit. Broodstrike does get taken down, but so does Panda, and Hexel gets a headshot there onto Mikkel as well. And in the meantime, Party is just sat pretty on the opposite high ground here, free firing down. Hexel takes down Harrisell, and this is another fight win for Douggies. They have not moved from this high ground.
You would almost say that a Trank looks really good for Monash Merchants, but you look at the Douggies and they're just all on opposite corners taking crossfires, and you've got Party who's also, like, you got 2 supports that also do so much damage as well. So they just simply win out on the damage in the early game. As you see, Toby the Hobo simply just uses his, oh my god, I forgot what it's called.
He uses Overload and then just walks forward.
Yes.
I mean, it's so scary, though. Like, what do you do? The Torbjorn's so survivable, does so much damage that you can't get out. There's so many ultimates now available for Douggies as well. There's the anti-nade as well, catches onto Panda. Panda's in a lot of trouble now. There's just no way to put it. There's the Gravitic Flux coming through, catches onto both supports. It's huge, it's massive, it is gargantuan. And Douggies, they have just absolutely stopped any sort of push from Monash Merchants. It's so difficult for them to get in, and they still haven't really built up an ult bank.
Yeah, the Graviton Flux, I would say, didn't necessarily need to be used there, but I think it wasn't a bad play. They've still got 4 ultimates, and notably, they have Bob and they have Torb Turret. That's basically 2 more things that they're going to be shooting at the Monash Merchants, and they only have Pib with the Overclock and a Nano, so I think it just has to be almost a Nano Overclock, or you have to hope that you get Blade in time, but if you don't get Blade in time, it's so risky as Mikkel's already won!
Mikkel's on 14 HP, but Pib gets the headshot there onto Broodstrike, takes down Jarman as well. The Nano boost with the Overclock, like you said, pays massive dividends here for the Monash Merchants. Party does take down Pib, and then uses the Transcendence as well. It's a little bit of styling there. Body blocks the Genji, so Mikkel gets taken down.
Oh, they're getting
now
killed.
are they going to be able to do this? How have they turned this? Panda gets so low, but Tobo takes down Harrisell as well. The 2-man army coming in. Panda now goes up, Tobo takes it down. Tobo, the lone dwarf on the point, uses the turret there. It's going to be the rally coming through, but it's only Dino left on the point, and they're going to get surrounded, picked apart. Douggies, they have held strong. Mikkel has the Dragon Blade, pulls it, gets Jarman, will almost get taken down, takes that Hobo, gets a rock to the face as they dash towards the point. Pib finishes off Broodstrike there, and now it's just going to be Panda, has the ultimate available. Are they going to use it? Not just yet. The downpour is there. When do they choose to pull the trigger? Party gets on the flank, Panda gets off the point. Douggies hold!
Party goes into the back line there and just makes the Hazard jump off of the point right there. I think it was a pretty 50-50 fight right there, but oh, you just see the support kill right there on the side of Monash Merchants, and you just, if you're Panda, you want to go for it, but jumps off of the point. And I'm just saying, if they win this map, I'm taking 25% of the credit, because I have no idea if Turbo the Hobo actually plays Torbjorn, but I'm taking credit for the Torbjorn pick, because that was amazing.
Certainly looks like Tobo plays Torb. What a play. And I mean, it was a great play from Douggies. Party pulling the trigger on the Transcendence, getting the body block there onto Mikkel, so that Tobo can just get kills for free, and Torbjorn being just as survivable as it is. It's a great call from Douggies to do that, and now they have put themselves well on track to win this game.
They have indeed, and in fact, I think they are so confident right now that they actually might roll out on some of these interesting picks, as I say that they actually go to Winston. And Junkrat, I feel like the Hobo is one for the people. wants to play the heroes that the people want. So I'm interested to see if we do see a mercy-pocketed Junkrat coming out of spawn. Oh, okay. He's just swapping around. We're not going to talk about Tobo the Hobo's hero picks right now as we get right into it. But it's going to be such an uphill battle for the Monash Merchants. They did not even cap first, and they are facing a series loss, a 2-0 loss if they can't pull it together on first point Route 66.
No, they absolutely need to try and pull it together, but it is a mammoth task, Krez. And I mean, it doesn't even need to be one fight win here for Dougie's. They can just build up ults and then wait to pull the trigger.
They can as well, and we saw, like, they had so many ults at the end of the last fight, and again, they don't need to play this very fast. They just need to take first point. They can stack up 4 to 5 ults, launch them all at the same time. As long as they get some out of Monash Merchants, they'll be sitting very pretty as we see the dive coming in, and Monash Merchants already really low.
Yeah, in fact, it's just so much damage. Despite Brute Strike going down, it's still 2 kills here for Dougie's. Hexel takes down Harrisel. Panda is going to get swarmed here by Dougie's. One more opportunity for Monash Merchants to get back into this fight and into this map. But without Pib being there, it is so much harder.
It's going to be very difficult right now, and I feel like it's going to be a half-hearted fight. I say that there is only one person on Dougie's on the cart right now, so they will probably comfortably get another fight in right now. But they are in dire straits right now. They lost that high ground so quickly, as we see Panda's jumped in, but is already, like, kind of low.
Yeah, Harrisel got anti-nated, but they do take down Broodstike as well, so they actually gain some space. They have to get back towards the point, though. They almost C9 there, but Panda gets back. Harrisel does get taken down, so they're down there. Ana as well. The Genji duel goes 1-for-1, but it's a nano boost that goes onto Tobo. Party takes down Dino, and this looks like it could be it. Hexel with the pulse bomb finishes off Pib. Tobo dashes through Mickle, and this could be it. The downpour does catch onto a few members, but Tobo the Hobo cleans up Panda. Dougie's will be your victors of match 2 here, taking the series 2-0.
A very decisive victories there from Dougie's. They lost their first round and they weren't happy about that. They come back with a vengeance, and man, this team was just a well-oiled machine, as we see Tobo with the play of the game.
To the surprise of absolutely no one. I mean, this is just rough if you are Monash Merchants. Oh dear. Tobo just lives. Panda jumps up with very little HP, gets taken down, and just to come back into that fight. It's a great call from Dougie's as well. And Monash Merchants, they will probably regret leaving both the Torbjorn and the Zenyatta up on that high ground for as long as they did.
Absolutely. When it first happens, you thought, Pi, why are you using your Transcendence there? But it ends up working out for them, and they do actually end up holding that, even though it does look a little bit dicey for a second. Though Tobo eventually taken down, but the rest of the team back and able to capitalize and take that map win.
Yeah, and I mean, massive kudos to Dougie's for being able to pull that off. Monash Merchants, I think you need to almost go back to the drawing board on that composition. If you are looking at this game, you really looked like you struggled with the dive composition. So, I mean, there is still some good to take away. We did see Pib have a couple of moments there where they managed to pull a play out of themselves. Really, and get kills, whether it was the 5k on Li Xiang or whether it was that 3k with the nano boost and the overclock. I mean, it's something. I know it's a lot of resources being put into Pib, but it's something coming out of those resources. You still have to be good enough to make the most of those resources.
And again, with the hero bans, I thought that they made the correct play with the hero ban, banning Pharah, because Tobo got so much done on Pharah in Lijiang Tower, but it didn't end up mattering because, again, just coming out with a vengeance on the Torbjorn on that defense, and it didn't really matter what I think Tobo was playing on the offense, but again, having such a good dive on the Genji with the Winston as well, they were able to secure that first fight pick and then getting the nano, even though Tobo wasn't even close to Blade, and just being able to kind of clean up that lobby.
Yeah, no, 100%. It just is the way that they played, and oh goodness, Dougie's. I'm glad we didn't see this composition, to be fair, Krez. It's hard to cast over a composition like this, that's for sure.
Well, we saw Hexel on Symmetra for like 2 seconds at the start of every single game in order to get the telly out there.
That's true.
And Broodstike did play Hog in Sport for, I think, a total of 3 seconds. Yeah. And same with Tobo. So really, I think we all win. They got to feel like that maybe they were going to play the heroes they wanted to, and we got to see them not play those heroes.
That's true. That's true. Well, before we go, we do have to pick our MVP for this match. And Krez, I think it's to no surprise that it's going to probably be Tobo the Hobo.
It's Tobo the Hobo.
Yeah, it's Tobo the
Simply
Hobo.
not even because of the fire play on the first map, but simply because he is a man of the people. And I do actually think that maybe they were just going to play Torb anyway, but I'm happy that I said it and it happened.
It's one of those moments where you feel very proud of being a caster, and you're like, yes, I got this.
Yes. And he almost solo saved that defense point. So simply no one can even argue with me as well.
No, I 100% agree. I think Tobo is 100% your MVP. And with that, we are going to go to a short break, but stick around, guys, because we have our final map of today's, our final match of today's stream coming up. You do not want to miss it.
Never mind. I'm very excited to see this game. Ignite is currently 1-1, Supernova 2-0. Supernova being Disconnected Esports home team, so very good to see them doing well in the tournament. But it's going to be a very exciting last match. But before we get into our last match, we do want to, again, just thank our sponsors, True Apparel and Blizzard Entertainment, for sponsoring the Melbourne Mash. If you haven't already, guys, exclamation mark giveaway in the chat to be entered to win. There's 2 Doki Watch bundles and 2 Ultimate Battle Passes up for grabs today. And again, a big shout out to Blizzard AZ for working with us. They have always been really good at supporting these grassroots events. As well as this, they are also going to be giving away some starter packs as well to people at the LAN who place very well. So shout out Blizzard.
There we go. I was muted apparently. Whoopsies. Oh dear me. Okay, well, to try that again, like Michelle, like Chris said, massive thank you to True Apparel. They've been around for so long with Disconnected Esports. Oh my goodness, I feel like such a dork right now. We're just going to go into our teams. I think that's the easiest way of doing this here. We're going to start off with Ignite. I've been looking forward to seeing this team, Supernova, sorry. I don't know, we're getting there. We're getting there at some point.
It's been a long day, everyone. Calm down. We are going to be looking at Ignite first. Lovely naming after Iggy, but we have Teeny Valkyrie on the tank, Giant Ninja and Turtle Hacks on the DPS, and Iggy and Moonish to round out the support lines. And wow, what a star-studded team. Basically everyone on this team, all OCE content creators that stream pretty regularly. So it's going to be fun seeing them perform. And obviously they've got the Iggy on fire emote as their cute little team logo. Harry, tell me a little bit about Ignite.
I mean, we know quite a few of these players from the OCE streaming, community. That's it. That's the word I'm looking for. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing all of these players play. Obviously, Tiny Valkyrie been around for quite a while. Giant Ninja and Turtle Hacks as well. Looking forward to seeing them on the DPS as a duo here, and Iggy and Riddles as well. Rounding out the support lineup, like you said. I mean, to be expected from this is Giant Ninja to come back in and destroy. He's been playing a lot of Marvel Rivals recently, and honestly, coming back to Overwatch, I think from what I've heard and from what I've seen, he's had a lot of fun recently, and preparing for this tournament, he's come back, he's looking to do this, and in his own words, looking to do this out of the love of the game as well. So I think that's a really good driving force to have for your DPS for Ignite, and it's who I'm looking for here to try and fire for this team.
Absolutely, and again, such a flexible team, but let's not waste any time. Let's get into Disconnected's own team, Supernova, with a lineup that we've basically said every single time we stream on the channel. We have Chappadoodle on the tank, Bunny and Slidzor on the DPS, and rounding it out, the tried and true support line of Liam Fox and Mutnik. And this is a team that has basically had 0 changes since its inception. This team is probably one of the oldest long-withstanding OCE teams. It's going to be great to see them playing today. They are 2-0, I believe, at the top of the standings right now, and it's going to be super exciting to see them play. But I actually do think that this is going to be a very fun match. Iggy's team has a lot of star individual players, but again, this is like one of the oldest teams that Overwatch. There's not a single person on this team below mid-masters, so it's going to be an absolutely crazy match.
It is going to be a crazy match, and, you know, I think that when you're looking at this team, you are looking at Chappadoodle. I think Chappadoodle is the heart and soul of this team. The Winston playstyle revolves completely around Chappadoodle. And if Chappadoodle is firing, Supernova is firing. Allows a space for Slidzorge, allows a space for Bunny. And then Liam Fox and Mutnik, they just do whatever they want in the back line. I mean, we've seen them time and time again. Can't wait to see them potentially at the LAN event as well. I know they're definitely up there for the favorites to qualify for that, but they still have quite a few obstacles that they have to overcome.
Absolutely. It is not all set out quite yet, and they are going to have to get past this last team in order to make it. And in fact, if Supernova don't win this one, there actually will be quite a few teams sitting on 2-1 final scores. So winning those maps and winning them quickly in the Swiss rounds will have been important. Moving on, next we are going to be talking about the hero bans for today.
Yes, we are. And I mean, we're going to see the May being banned here by Ignite, and Supernova are taking out the Hazard. So, I mean, I think what we're going to see here is some Winston gameplay from both teams. Krez, I think it's just something that we are, it's likely to see from Supernova. We already know that's the game style that we see from them. But I think Ignite banning this May and stopping that kind of brawly composition, I think they'll be wanting to play the Winston as well.
I think that they will try and run out on the Winston. The interesting thing about Ignite is I actually know that obviously Iggy is going to be listed for support, but also does play a pretty good bowl. And I think if things get dicey, it's something you could definitely see come out. And as well as this Giant Ninja also has a very good Doomfist. So they actually have a lot of people who can rotate through tank players and try new things if things are not working out. I don't know if you've seen all of the Giant Ninja videos on Doomfist verticals of Diads. It's going to be crazy. And we actually don't have time to look at the map pool, but we are going to be starting off on Lijiang Tower like we have all the rest of the time. Map pool's not changed, so don't really need to discuss it further there.
And it's a brawl composition coming out from Ignite here as well, with the Junker Queen and with the Torbjorn as well from Turtle Hacks.
Yeah, coming out with the compositions, we do actually see Teeny's going to be on the Junker Queen instead, and we actually see Turtle Hacks on the Torbjorn, a bit more bunkery comp, going to make Supernova have to look multiple directions, and Freya is in the lobby, so interesting to see, but Buddy's already gotten a pick onto Iggy.
Yeah, Iggy gets taken down from the Freya there. Slidzord finishes off Riddles as well. Jai does take down Slid, and Tinny does take down Liam Fox as well. But Mudnick finding Turtle Hacks. Chappadoodle still being alive as well. Until then, oh my goodness, Chappadoodle, no. What have I just seen from you there? It's actually going to be Ignite who take consolidation of the point here, and they'll get the first capture.
Ignite getting that first capture, even though Supernova gets that first pick, and it's just off of the back of some great teamwork and stalling. And now they hold the bridge, and Iggy's taking down Slidzor early in the fight.
Yeah, that is a huge pick. There's a lot less damage now available for Supernova, but now they just have to wait for that respawn, and Jai is putting in so much damage still.
Jai is going to be putting in just a lot of damage on the Pharah, just spamming down those choke lines, and Supernova hasn't been able to get in. However, we do see Slidzor onto the Tracer, onto the point, just trying to draw some attention, and there you go, Buddy entry frags again.
Yeah, Riddle's falling there. The Brigida means there's a lack of heal, lack of sustain right now for Ignite, and with Tinny going down as well, this should signal the retreat for Ignite. It was a good initial couple of fights there. They get a couple of picks and some percentage on the board, but Supernova now are in control.
On the way out, however, Jai and the DPS line from Ignite get a couple of picks, so it means they might get to come back early. Notably, though, the picks are onto the two fastest members of the team, being Mutnik and Liam Fox, so they will probably be able to get back into the fight pretty early. But Jai is trying to put a bit of pressure on, but it needs to be careful because it is getting low.
Yeah, there's a Kitsune rush as well as Bunny using their ultimate as well. And Tinny just gets absolutely eviscerated. No chance of living there for the Junker Queen, and it's a retreat coming in already from Ignite.
It's really interesting to see the Freya gameplay and just seeing how easily that they can chain in. In fact, almost taking down Jai, manages to get back to the ground before he blows up from that crossbow. And now it's going to be Ignite having to take a little bit of a different angle. They're going around the other side.
Yeah, trying to scope down onto that Pharah here. Like you said, the outer side now being taken, and the Tracer swap has come in for Ignite as well.
As you can see, just peppering. No fights have been committed into just yet. And oh my gosh, Turtle almost just goes so low there.
Yeah, Nano Boost committed as well as the barrage from Jai, but they don't get any kills there. Chappadoodle had to use the Primal Rage, gets Antinator taken down to low HP. And in the meantime, Ignite have taken the point control. So now Supernova don't have a chance of getting any sort of percentage here, and they have to try and come back into this fight. Rampage online here for Tinny. Do they get the chance to use it? Turtle Hacks has gone down. There's the Carnage going through. They're trying to just get the opportunity to use this. There's a rally coming in from Riddles. Is the Carnage going to get released just yet. The Rampage comes through now, gets on towards Mutnik as well. The sound barrier was already utilized, but again, no kills coming off of that ultimate. It was a huge ultimate. Jai finally finds Slid George, and Teeny kind of caught out in the open here. Is going to get taken down, but Riddles finishes off Mutnik as well. And in the meantime, Ignite have already built up 70% of the point. This is a great cleanup coming in. Kitsune Rush comes in from Liam Fox, but that may be an overcommitment here, as both Liam and Bunny have gone down. Chopper does get a kill back, but will fall 80% and counting now for Ignite.
What a flip from Ignite. They just get the point back for free. The fight's still going on the point, but Ignite should be able to clean up right here. And can we just say, Teeny, shout out to you on the Jungle Queen, just being able to hold that point, gets the Rampage, gets everyone low, doesn't get a kill, but the rest of the team able to finish on the kills. Teeny is back on the Doofus, so I'm interested to see how this goes, but Supernova only have one fight.
Yeah, they've touched the point. They get the overtime wick burning down. Chappadoodle just misses that jump. That's very uncharacteristic. Pulse Bomb comes in and a punch to the face, but Chappadoodle manages to survive through it all. Iggy is currently on the flank as the Ana right now, so Tinny doesn't have any healing. Gets taken down. Bunny onto the Sombra there, stopping the power block, and now Riddles falls as well. It's great cleanup from Supernova as they flip the point back in their favor.
Point has split back in Supernova's favor, but there is still a couple of fights left in this, and Ignite going to swap back over to the Junker Queen, but they are going to have a Nano and a Barrage, and we've seen how deadly a Nano Barrage can be. You could instantly just pick off two members, and Supernova have no support ults, and they're not at their primal yet. Mutnik going low!
Mutnik, live, please! Oh my goodness, how does Mutnik almost get taken down there? Tinny with a knife, I think, just about pulled the Lucio away, and again, the far side being taken here from Ignite. They have the Barrage online, Krez.
We're going to have to see what is able to get done. It's really all that they've got right now, and if they wait too long, they're going to lose their advantage. The Nano goes out. What can Jai get? He gets hacked! That's what he gets!
Up, there's the Barrage. Chappadoodle tried to use the race to live, but gets absolutely deleted by the brush of the Barrage from Giant Ninja. Now without their tank, Supernova, they have to try and stay on this point here. There's the hack coming through, but the Kitsune Rush from Liam Fox is there just to keep the healing alive, to give a little bit of momentum towards Supernova. In the meantime, Ignite have not been able to get any other kills here, and Giant Ninja goes down. Tinny falls as well. Buddy gets Riddles as well. The EMP was there. It was a good EMP. Sled Swords finishes off Turtle Hacks. Ignite fall to pieces at the last hurdle, and Supernova will take point one, but boy, that was close.
Very close game between Ignite and Supernova on round one of Lijiang Tower, and that could have gone either way. Chappadoodle goes down in Primal Rage really early into the fight, but Ignite not able to capitalize off of that. They simply can't get any more picks. Chappadoodle gets back so fast, I think might have gotten a bit of a speed boost back from Mutnik, and it's just back into the fight before they can really do anything, and they just collapse on to Ignite, and simply the point never left.
Yeah, I mean, they just... Yeah, they they did never leave. I find it interesting how Ignite are playing this, because it seems like when the ultimates come online, they actually are having more struggles than when there's no ultimates online.
And they are, and again, I think it is just up to we have a bit of a pause coming through, probably a bit of a player disconnect or something. That's all I can assume because it is OC, but it gives us a little bit more time to digest what just happened in map 1.
Yeah, I think that what we're seeing at the moment is two very different styles, and the way that Supernova are trying to play at the moment is such a patient gameplay. They're waiting for someone to just get a little bit overextended, and then they're trying to pounce on it. Whereas Giant Ninja is obviously just peppering from the side. It's still slow play coming out here from Ignite, and it makes it really difficult for Supernova to try and get in. And that's why we saw the point get flipped over during the middle of one of those fights, is because, I mean, Supernova, they just can't jump in and engage as quickly as they would normally be able to do so. And we saw a lot of hero swaps coming in from Supernova to try and remedy that situation.
There was hero swaps on both sides, and I agree, and Supernova did struggle a little bit there. You thought maybe that they were actually going to let the map slip, but they managed to get back into control and just, take that overtime fight so wisely. As we get back into the fight, there's no more pauses. I believe everything has been solved. We actually see Turtle Hacks onto the Torb now, just again to probably try and split Supernova's attention a little bit more. They don't maybe have someone dedicated to taking out the turret, I say, as the turret gets immediately dispatched of and is no longer of service. And Chappadoodle going behind, possibly for a flank, and I don't know if they know he's there.
They definitely know he's there now. Turtle Hacks was keeping an eye on that. It's a good bubble to cut off the healing onto Teeny. Iggy has fallen, but Liam TP'd towards Chapadoodle and just gets cleaved through there by Teeny. Mutnik does find Riddles, but gets taken down by Giant Ninja, and now it's just the point control in favor of Ignite, and Supernova have to fall back.
Supernova falling back. This is really good for Ignite. They are really good at taking these fights without ults. They just need to clean up some of their ult fights, but it's okay because no one's really close to ult, so they get another fight where they can possibly just try and take as much of an advantage as they can, get up towards maybe those second perks if they don't already have them.
Yeah, there's the anti-nade onto Mutnik here as Lucio was going around on the side. Here comes the boop opportunity. Missed by Mutnik. That's a bit uncharacteristic for the Lucio of Supernova. Now the fight's coming through. Chapadoodle has jumped into 4 members and Slidzorge manages to find Turtle Hat. Anti-nade comes through but doesn't connect onto anyone there. Just keeps Iggy alive. But in the meantime, the point has flipped in favor of Supernova. Now we see a bit of a role reversal of point 1 here. Now Teeny's trying to get onto the point, but Iggy has been felled by Mutnik. Bunny got Giant Ninja earlier in the fight. Riddles falls as well. And that is Supernova cleaning up the rest of this fight and doing it with style.
I didn't even notice how quickly Bunny had gotten their ultimate, and as you can see, almost at that bowler bolt again, because of how getting those final blows just gives you so much ult charge, and it's just crazy how much you can combo with this new hero, Freya.
Yeah, it is crazy. It is absolutely crazy. And they have a lot of ultimates online now, Supernova here as well, Krez. And again, the long rotation coming through here from Ignite.
Here we go. The ultimate's back up. I wonder if they're just going to fire it early, but they don't for now. But Ignite needs to get in, and then you can quickly. But no, Turtle Hex gets booped off the map.
Mutnik on the Lucio was not letting that rotation happen for free. Teeny now is just going to stand there and die. Another kill for the Lucio of Supernova. Bunny gets Iggy in. 50% built up now for Supernova. Lots of ultimates online for Ignite, and they've decided that the Torbjorn isn't working. They're going to swap over to the Tracer.
I think that's a good idea. I think the Torbjorn turret probably wasn't getting enough value, and you go back to Tracer, someone you've already built up some of that perk time on, and you possibly get towards your second perk before the end of the round. You've got 4 ultimates left, both of your support ultimates. If you play this right, you can easily secure 2 picks into this fight, and hopefully force Supernova to use some of their ults as well.
Riddle's down to half HP. Slids is just hiding. There is the ultimates coming out from Jai and also from Bunny. Bunny gets taken down though and doesn't get a trade back with their ultimate. They're trying to finish off Slid. Slid finally falls there. There's the rally coming out here from Riddles. They start up onto Chapadoodle, who's used the Primal Rage as well. Now Liam Fox is in a bit of trouble as Chapadoodle gets the juggle onto Iggy and gets the finishing blow as well. Mutnik will be the next one to fall here as Ignite will get onto the point. They'll take it up at 93% built up for Supernova.
Absolutely, it is one fight territory. However, though, Ignite need to play almost perfectly from here if they want to be able to take this map to 1-1 and fight it out on Control Center. And they still have their Rampage and their Nano. That's so good. Mutnik does have the beat, but like if you can burst down people so quickly with a Nano Junker Queen, and I think that's maybe what they're going to try to do.
Yeah, they need to try and get on top of Mutnik here. Maybe they can force out an early usage of the beat, but they actually rush down Bunny instead, and Liam Fox almost gets caught into trouble, but gets slipped instead. Iggy with the sleep dart. Liam caught out, gets taken down. Now Teeny just has to live here. Slidzorge has to back away as Turtle Hack takes down Mutnik. Supernova now make the change. They go towards the Genji for Bunny. 73% in counting. This could be the final fight.
It could be final fight, but again, Turtle Hacks has the pulse, and I don't know who it's going to go on to. They have so many immunities in Supernova to that pulse bomb. I think the only person you can do is like possibly chuck it on Chapadoodle because he doesn't have the primal. And there we go, and early.
That is a huge rampage coming through. Sound barrier from Mutnik as well. So now Teeny's a little bit caught out, but manages to circle back towards the rest of the team. Nano Boost now goes on towards Riddles to keep the Brigitte alive, and they take down Mutnik with it as well. There's the pulse bomb being used, but Iggy is staying alive through everything right now. Gets the anti-nade there onto Chapadoodle. Giant takes down Liam Fox as well. Despite the Kitsune Rush being used,
they're not going to get a point.
Falling to pieces. The rally is the exclamation point there for Ignite as they'll take round 2. We're going to a round 3 for the first time in our stream tonight.
Really excited to see it go all the way on Lijiang Tower. Unfortunately, I don't think anyone was really going to charge. I thought that Supernova was probably edging out that fight a little bit, but then all of the kills just came swarming, and Iggy able to live on a slither of health, and actually, I think was only wanting to nade themselves, but ending up getting that anti on Chapadoodle was just so clinical, but everyone in Ignite just stayed alive for long enough to make it all happen. I love Iggy using obviously the Nano on Riddles, but also themselves just to give the support line enough beef to just hold on from that Supernova dive.
Yeah, it was great play coming out from Iggy, and honestly, Iggy has been picked off a couple of times early in fights, so it's good to see Iggy holding their own there.
It really is, and we're getting like almost straight into it again.
Yes, we are. The bench being shown from Jai here as well. The Remacha from Chappadoodle. So finally, we don't see the Winston coming out. And Chappadoodle just gets absolutely obliterated there. Turtle Hacks now finishes off Liam Fox as well. And this should just be a fight win straight away here for Ignite. They have the point control, and it's so hard for Supernova with the composition they're running to try and get that back.
I think if you are Ignite, this is all that you've ever wanted. You forced Chappadoodle off of his Winston pick and now onto a match of something he's probably less comfortable with, while you still have everyone in your composition on things that they're very comfortable with. And I think that they just needed to last until Control Center, and they can probably have a very dominant display here as long as they keep playing the way they have.
Yeah, well, now Chappadoodle has seen the error of his ways, not going up towards the high ground there, instead playing more out in the open, allowing his team to get the spam damage in, and Teeny almost falls. There's a great anti-nair that comes through there, though, from Iggy, and Jai manages to take down Slidzorge. So now it is another retreat coming in from Supernova, unless they can get another pick. But for the time being, they can't really aggress here, Krez. They don't have the damage.
No, they don't, and at some point you might have to swap something out because Ignite's just been sitting pretty on the point right now. There's not really been any pressure from them to get off of this point as, we see Slidzor on the fire trying to go for a little bit of an angle, and hopefully maybe this can get something done. Iggy gets directed once, but Nanos themselves to keep them up.
Yeah, and Nano's Teeny, who just immediately destroys Bunny. Chappadoodle falls as well, 50% and counting, and there is no stopping Ignite at the moment. The Supernova, they're in dire straits.
They currently just don't have any answers right now. They can't do anything about this Broly comp. Oh, the pulse bomb sticks, but unfortunately just gets Suzu'd, and Turtle Hacks is taken out. So if they want to contest the point, now is their opportunity.
Yeah, they don't have to worry about the Tracer in their backline. Now they need to go towards the point and try and rush in. There's the Annihilation as well as the Kitsune Rush, and it is just a disengage now coming out here from Ignite. And they know this fight is lost. They're not going to invest any ultimates. There's no other kills coming through here from Supernova. Great disengage.
A good disengage. They know that they can't win the fight. They managed to get out without anyone else dying, so they can go again. However, Supernova does have some really nice ults coming up. They have Beat and Annihilation, which could be very useful together. You simply will just not die on the ram, almost, and as well as a Barrage. And again, we've seen how good Barrage can be on these points. On the other side, I think Jai has the Venture ult, which could be very, very good if he's able to land it on a couple of people. But again, Slinger in the Sky is not probably going to be hurt by that.
Great anti-nade coming in there from Iggy. It forces out the Suzu, and there is the Rampage that comes through. But Teeny gets caught out there. They're not able to follow up our Ignite. And now Supernova, they look to press their advantage with the sound barrier coming through as well. Jai, very, very low, has to back away. And now it's the rest of the backline having to back out as well. A very nice fight win there from Supernova, but it does force out the sound barrier.
I was going to say, I honestly think you've actually won that fight there if you're Ignite. You trade your Rampage, but instead, now you have no Beat, no support ultimates on the other side. You have two on your side. You have so much sustain. I reckon you're going to see a Nano come out early into someone maybe like Jai and try and get something done, or even just the Nano to keep someone alive. And you've just got to push and go fast here. You've got both support ults.
Yeah, we could even see Chappadoodle trying to force the tempo here with the Annihilation. There it is. There is the I forget what it's called now, the rally coming in there from Riddles here as Giant Ninja as well uses their Tectonic Shock Barrage still online here for Slidzorge. Doesn't try to use it there, in fact, just gets taken down. And now we're going to see Ignite as they get onto the point. They will flip it over, and we're going into last fight territory once again, potentially.
I do not want to see Ignite get too ballsy with this one because we've seen how quickly a Pharah ult can chain anything, but that was really good there. They just had the better support ultimates now. Liam Fox is going to be the closest support to an ultimate, so I don't even know if we'll see another one in this fight. Oh, both Jai and Slidzor are getting low, but both healed up by the rest of the team. I want to see what this Pulse Bomb can do from Total. It's going to be so hard to get value on it, but something needs to happen. Otherwise, they're in danger right now. Bunny's on the Genji right now, and oh my god, takes down Jai.
Yeah, Jai just getting a little bit too big for their britches there. There's the Barrage as well as the Kitsune Rush being utilized. Bunny takes down Teeny and Riddles as well. 3 kills for the Genji of Supernova. 4 kills, in fact. Will we see a 5th? Not quite yet. As we see,
I don't know if Ignite's
going
to be able to touch. They might be able to get a rush touch onto the point, but I don't think it's going to be the touch that they're after. Again, they've only got about 5 seconds to touch this point, and Total Hacks has already been found out. They do get the touch onto the point, but I think both DPS go because they're unsure who is going to touch. Yeah,
they didn't communicate it properly at all there, so Giant now has to use all their cooldowns to get away. Overtime Wick burns down, but once again touched on there by Turtle Hacks. 1 more shot for both teams. Rampage coming online. Sue Turtle Hacks gets quite low, has to back away. Mutnik uses the sound barrier. They get on top of Riddles. They take down the Brigida for Ignite. Now it's going to be a 1v1. There is the Rampage coming through. It's massive coming out from Teeny, but Chappadoodle finds Iggy. Giant's already fallen. Despite the ultimate being massive, there's no follow-up allowed, no follow-up available. Supernova will take the third and final point of map 1 and will secure the map.
What an insane end to that one. That was such a big ultimate from Teeny, but no one could follow up on it. Too many people had already died on the side. We're actually going to see Bunny clean up here on the Genji, which was a late swap, but oh my goodness, that could almost have gone either way. That was an incredibly close match between these two teams, and I genuinely have no idea which team is going to win this series, because Supernova looked so good there, but Ignite as well.
Yeah, I mean, Ignite really took them to task there, and it's very interesting to see that because, I mean, as we can see, Ignite are 1-1 at the moment. Their first game that they played was a 2-0 loss to OCE's Most Wanted, and they're also coming off of a map loss in their last game as well, so maybe this is just what they need. Maybe they need the map loss to try and get them fired up, to get them going here, as we can see here. We also saw that Supernova, they ended up losing a map to Monash Milkers in the last game as well. So both teams here, they're looking really evenly matched.
I think that this is going to be an amazing match, and I'm curious to see how Ignite counter going into the rest of the match. I thought they looked really good on Control Center with Chappadoodle on the ramp, but as soon as they lost the point again, it was a bit of a slog, a bit of a back and forth, and just in that final moment, I think they just didn't have the ults that they needed to close it out. I think that beat from Mutnik was just what sealed the deal. They just had a little bit more sustain because they had to use both support ultimates in the fight before.
Yeah, they did. And unfortunately for Ignite, when you don't win a fight, when you use both your support ults, you're already on the back foot for the next fight. It just is the way it is. So going into a final fight territory when you've already used all your support ults, it's going to be rough no matter what.
Yeah, I think they did a really good job there. I almost thought they could have brought it back with that JQ ult, but they couldn't. But going into the next map, I wonder what we're going to see. I think when you look at Supernova, you look and you go, they're going to play Winston. And I feel like Teeny likes to play the Jungle Queen. So I'm almost just like, do they just ban the Winston in this map, right? Like, it doesn't matter. If they lose here, they get 2-0'd, and it doesn't help them in the standings. They go 1-2 overall today. So do they just say, hey, we need to take this map when we at least need to make it a best of 3 series, get it all the way to the end, ban it, and then hopefully you can like sneak out a win, because I think it was so close when Chappadoodle couldn't play that Winston.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that Chappadoodle looked a little bit more vulnerable when he wasn't on the Winston. And to be fair, even when Chappadoodle was playing the Winston, Ignite did take it to Supernova. We are going to our second map, though, and the pick from Ignite is going to be... Is it going to be Route 66? Will we see Route 66 a third time?
Will we go 3 for 3 or will we see something different? I almost...
Hey! Havana! We're going to Havana, people, and I'm very excited for this because this means we're probably going to see some snipers.
I'd be surprised if a sniper didn't come out. I think Turtle Hacks plays a little bit of Witter and a little bit of Hanzo as well, so I'm curious to see which one of those maybe ends up getting picked for this second map. And again, really long sight lines, and I think if I was Ignite, I would 100% just ban Winston now. I'd ban him now, get it out of the way, and then just go toe-to-toe in a Brawl comp, because you have really good players for that Brawl comp.
Yeah, you do, and I think they just need to get past this first point, really. Because once you get to the second point, I think you're pretty happy with being able to, push through there. The third point can be a little bit dicey, and realistically, Havana comes down to whose Widowmaker or whose DPS line is firing at the time.
Absolutely, and throughout this entire thing, I think it's going to be really close on Havana. But I think it's going to be interesting seeing Havana. We haven't seen it before today. I think very different team comps might come out, or we might just see more Orisa being played. I'm almost thinking, what is the tank that Ignite's going to be running on this map? Because they have almost 3 players who can actually pick up tank. And it could be interesting to see if maybe they go, maybe we really like Bowl on Havana. I actually really like Bowl on Havana. Maybe they get Iggy to swap over to that. But I don't know if they're going to be running the composition. We saw a couple... I don't think we've necessarily seen a team swap up their comp, but I definitely think if there's a team that could Ignite, would be the one to swap up maybe who's playing tank.
No, I completely agree. And I was actually going to say myself that Iggy Ball could be a real thing that comes out here, and we could see, a substitute coming through, maybe for a support. You could see maybe Moonish comes in to play the Juno here. It's a very high stakes game to be making those types of subs. So maybe you just want to stick with your roster that you have currently ongoing. Apparently, there's no subs being whispered into my ear at the moment, but the hero bans are going to be where I think it's the most interesting. If you are Ignite, what are you banning here?
I think you just ban Winston. I think you just got to be able to get over that hurdle, and I think if you can take kind of the guy who's known for playing Winston and I think has played Orisa and a little bit of JQ previously, but really is just known for being able to play Winston and is just really good at that juggling. I think you just take that out of the game, make him play something he's a little bit less comfortable on. And then I think on the side of Supernova, if you're going to ban anyone, I would just be really careful. I actually don't think that Junker Queen, I don't think any of the tanks are going to be what you ban. Just purely because you ban Junker Queen, you know that before the game starts, you just maybe get someone else to play tank. You get Iggy to play bowl and you play a completely different composition. So I'd almost go towards if there's a DPS that maybe was oppressing them a lot in the last map.
Oh, you did see that the Venture was causing them a little bit of strife, but also the fact that it's Havana. Probably, you won't see too much Venture, I wouldn't say. Maybe towards the second point you might see it. You might, maybe, and this is just hypothetically, maybe you just ban Juno here. And you get Juno out of the way, or you get something like an Ana out of the way.
You're going to find out.
Yeah, we are going to find out indeed. And it's then Yara and Widowmaker that get banned. So we're not seeing Widow, that's for sure.
No, but I still think that there's a possibility that I think Turtle might run out on something like Hanzo. I've seen that used a little bit before. Interesting bans from both teams, though. They didn't end up banning the Winston. Maybe they want to play it themselves and see how that goes. I do actually think that Supernova's ban of Zen does make a lot of sense because that is something that will just really hurt your Winston player. And any sort of dive hero, like just getting a Discord orb is just almost as good as you need just on its own.
Yeah, I think it's a smart ban from Supernova, and I think it stops any possibility of playing those Sigma compositions, at least comfortably. You could still see some Iari maybe come through, but I doubt it. I think that you'll probably go back more, like you said originally earlier on, maybe towards the Orisa for Ignite.
Yeah, I won't be surprised if we see Sig, Orisa, Junker Queen, Winston, and any of those tanks basically come out. I wouldn't be surprised if we maybe saw a Supernova back on the Ram as well. I think there's quite a few tanks you could play here. I'm interested to see how the rest of the composition changes around them.
Yeah, no, I am as well. I think the way that Ignite play is going to be completely on what tank they choose, because like you said, it's a coin toss on what they're choosing to do. And for Supernova, like you said, if maybe we could see the Ramatra come out from Chapaduta. He didn't look terrible at it. He just didn't look as comfortable as he was on the Winston. And so, yeah, I'm kind of 50-50 on what Supernova could do here. I think that sticking to the Winston is probably best for them.
I almost have this inkling in my brain that they're not going to play Winston. I just don't know.
We did see Chapadoodle play a lot of Hazard in a couple of show matches and in the Basic Master League match that we did about a month ago. And he looked quite good. He looked really comfortable on the Hazard. And obviously it was banned in the last in that last map there. But I think that was more because Supernova don't want Hazard played against them for that map in particular.
Yeah, and I guess we're going to get a little bit of idea of what we see. And right now, right now we see that Chapadoodle is looking at like they're going to be starting on the Ramatra, and I have a little bit more faith that they actually end up on the heroes that they are when they're on defense, because they actually have to walk. Yeah,
they do have to walk. I'm really confused by what Ignite are showing right now, though, Krez. Surely you don't walk out on Reinhardt on Havana.
I don't know. It'd be really curious to see if it is happening, but I mean, 4 seconds left, and there you go. You're going to see the swap over to Sigma.
That makes more sense. That makes way more sense. I mean, one pick here from Supernova, or from Ignite, means that they get so much space here. So this more pick-based composition here, I'm quite happy to see it.
Sorry, just having a couple of microphone issues right now. It sounds like I am going through a car wash, but I simply am not going through as much as these players right now. As Tina gets extremely low, but manages to stay alive.
Yeah, Teeny backs away, gets healed up there. It's still Iggy trying to do a lot of that healing there. Riddle's over onto the ERE here, just trying to poke through here. Chappadoodle now goes into that Nemesis form, gets slept, rocked, everything thrown at the Ramatra of Supernova. Bunny is just trying to do damage from the side here with Slidzorge as well. No picks coming through from either team just yet, and Riddles is just getting healing from their pylon that's just safely over tucked into the corner here. And Kreds, neither team really making a move just yet.
No team's making a move just yet, but that's always going to be good for Supernova. I say that Jai takes down Mutnik, and this is the opening that they need.
Yeah, no here, not a lot of sustain available for Supernova. They have completely surrounded Chappadoodle. The Nano Boost as well went onto Jai, so they actually invested the ultimate there, and now it's just clean up here as they take down Bunny, and they take down Liam Fox as well. And Ignite, they're building up towards other ultimates as well.
They are building up towards those other ultimates as well, and it's just going to be a bit of a smooth sailing push right now. We're going to have Teeny moving up right now, trying to deter them from pushing, but they will probably get another touch. But hey, one nicely timed rock right here might ruin everything, as Chappadoodle already antied and getting semi-low.
Yeah, getting low, but now uses their Nemesis form. They're just going forward, and Teeny just gets absolutely rolled there by Chappadoodle, not able to be healed up. So does Turtle Hacks. Mutnix takes down Iggy, and that's Ignite having to fall back here. A great retake coming from Supernova. No ultimates used.
Really great retake from Supernova, and they've got heaps of ultimates to use right now. Ignite invested in their Freya ultimate, didn't get much hurt, and their Nano as well, whereas Supernova didn't use a single ult, so they're going to be sitting pretty with almost everything to use. You almost expect it to maybe be an early Blade here, coupled with the Juno ult.
Yeah, you would think so, but in fact, there's no Juno ult. There's a Gravitic Flux instead. They take down Slidge. Jai gets taken down by Bunny, though, and Teeny is getting pressured down as well. Falls. Liam Fox takes down the tank of Ignite, and Ignite, that was an expensive fight to lose.
It was a very expensive fight to lose. You use your Flux. You do actually take down Slidgel, which is what you wanted, but they only invested one ult in order to hold that one. They still got their Juno and Genji combo, as well as just Annihilation and Rally in case they need it. But Ignite only got 2 ultimates right now. They've got the Sojourn ult and they've got the Irari ult, but I don't know if it's going to be enough.
No, well, I mean, with Giant Ninja taking a pick onto Mutnik there, it could be. There's the Iari ult, the Sunstrike coming through, takes down Liam Fox. No supports now available, but they do use the Orbital Ray in the end. Bunny gets 1, gets 2. It's going to be Teeny going down as well. Iggy finishes off Bunny, and Jai is still there fighting the good fight as well. It is just going to be now Slids trying to run away. Will do so successfully. Giant Ninja will hold on to the point here, getting some spam damage as they push the cart towards the point.
They are going to be pushing it towards the end right now, but Supernova are going to get another fight at this one. Brig's going to be the one that touches the point, immediately gets bursted and dies through the rally.
What a sleep dart from Iggy there, finishing off Mutnik before they can get the rally to fully go online. Sledge now being punished there by Teeny. Great anti-nade comes through from Iggy as well. They finish off Bunny. They should finish off Chappadoodle eventually as well here. They do get the follow-up kill, but it will be the end of the hold here for Supernova as Ignite take point 1.
It was a really good hold, but unfortunately, Mutnik just dies early with that rally. Isn't able to do anything because of all of the pressure, especially that sleep from Iggy on the touch, and they will make it to streets.
Yeah, they will make it to streets, and they have some ultimates coming up as well here. And now we see a swap as well from Turtle. They go over towards a Genji.
Yeah, I do like the swap into the Genji. I think you just have a little bit more in and out, especially against a team like Supernova where they're diving in really heavily right now. Oh, Chappadoodle getting a bit low, but it's probably going to be safe in this corner and just get healed up. We see Jai using the ult, immediately gets Liam Fox.
Yeah, takes down the Ana straight away. That's a lot less healing now available for Supernova. Slids, though, gets revenge for their Ana and takes down Jai on the high ground there. So now it's less damage available for Ignite versus less healing for Supernova. But it still looks like the car is moving forward.
The car is still moving forward, which is important. It's been stopped just a little bit forward now. But Ignite, again, don't have too much time because it took him all of that time just to get first. And Iggy being isolated and picked off, and now Turtle Hack's going down. And I feel like they're just staggering themselves out a little bit. They need to get a full reset.
Yeah, that's not the first time we've seen Iggy going for a bit of a flank play and getting picked apart there by Bunny and Chappadoodle as well. I'd love to see them try and play maybe a little safer when these dive compositions are online. Ignite, they have a lot of ults available though, Krez.
They do have ults available, both support ults, but again, we've seen how good it is to try and maybe only use one to get the win and save the other one for the next fight, because then otherwise the other team has the advantage. As Bunny just gets the deflect kill into Jai.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate because now Ignite, they're losing a lot of their precise damage. There is the nano boost going onto Teeny and onto Iggy as well. Iggy trying to get some value from that, but the Dragon Blade is almost available here from Bunny. They could use it in the next fight. Once they decide how to work out the stairs, they'll be able to get up there and do some damage, but it looks like a disengage coming in from Ignite as the nano boost was used there from Supernova.
It was a very early nano boost used from Supernova, so Ignite, and now is your probably time to go if you really want to. Get your Kyrie Rush out and try and get a pick. However, Bunny pulls the trigger first!
Yeah, Jai caught out once again. The Dragon Blade gets one there. Is the Kitsune Rush being utilized by Ignite? Riddle's trying to fight the good fight, but Iggy has already fallen. The deflect comes in. Chappadoodle, there goes my hero. Swats the Farah away from Bunny there. Bunny gets healed up, and now it's just going to have to be another reset coming in here from Ignite.
A reset indeed, and there's only 10 seconds left to touch point. More like 5 now. They have ults. They just need to use them and secure some picks. But again, rally is up. It's not going to be wasted this time. Slid's all going to have that overclock. I wonder when it's going to be pulled. It's not being pulled just yet. There it goes. And here it goes. It should just be clean up for the Supernova crew.
Yeah, especially with Turtle Hex going down there. Terra Surge won't find anything, and it is just going to be Ignite. They'll stall out for as long as they can. They may be able to kill Chappadoodle, but no, not quite. Great play from Chappadoodle. The Winston for Supernova has been putting in the work right now. It is still a fight going on here, so Bunny gets low. There's the touch back onto the point. Teeny trying to stay alive, trying to fight with all of their might, but will eventually get taken down as Bunny has been absolutely merciless on this Genji. That is another 3k life to clean up the fight, and that is going to be Supernova holding on second point. And for my money there, that was Ignite getting a little bit too creative with how they were flanking and getting picked apart by some really cohesive dives coming in from Supernova.
It was really good, and again, Supernova don't hold that first point, but Bunny doing so well on that second point just on the Genji. It almost just felt like they were taking themselves out of the fight. Got a couple good deflect kills in there, and Supernova now knows where they have to go in order to win this series, and it's not actually too far.
No, you're absolutely correct. It isn't too far at the moment. They only have to get to halfway through second point, so if you Ignite, you have to try and find a way to waste time and win fights early as well, and I think that means you have to go for a spawn hold.
I do think they have to go for a spawn hold, but I'm looking at this comp and I don't know if that's the way you're going to be able to do it. For the first time ever, we're actually possibly going to see a Mercy rolling out on the team comp, probably to give that pocket over to Turtle Hacks or Jai Ninja, but that's just so scary. Like, a Mercy in this meta can get picked out so quickly and so easily. You have one coordinated push and that Mercy is out, and then you've lost pretty much all of your value. You really are putting all of the onus on your DPS players to get it done if you are running that Mercy.
No, 100%. You're missing so much healing, and you have to play so slow as well if you're Ignite, because you need Jai or you need Turtle to actually get the kills here. And I don't think it's going to be as easy when you have the dive composition that Supernova love to run against you.
Again, yeah, with this really strong dive, you've got Barney, Chappadoodle. They could just jump in, and I don't know who's going to be able to keep the Mercy alive, but maybe it is the pick that they need. They just need a little bit more power into their DPS. Right now, they're not looking to do anything crazy. They are just trying to look to push the cart Supernova before they do one big dive in, and I guess we'll see very quickly who's going to win these fights, because it's either going to be Chappadoodle and Bunny dying quickly or getting a pick.
You just need one anti-nade if you're Liam Fox. You know you just need one anti-nade. There's Teeny getting separated from the rest of the team. There's no healing available for the tank of Ignite. They get taken down, and that is spelling disaster right now. If you are Ignite, you can't play forward. They're playing so far back here, Krez.
They are, and there's no way you can get a res right there because Teeny just died too far into the team. You've got 3 people or 2 people pushing the cart, and everyone else pushed up because there's nothing you can do right now. Jai is almost at the ult, hitting so many shots right now, so that's going to be so important if they want to hold it. Very, very close to that first ult. Well, the next person's at 50%.
Yeah, you need to keep them alive, though, and you need to keep Teeny alive as well. Iggy can't get killed here either. They need to try and keep their support alive, but they don't. Jai gets taken down as well. As soon as the Mercy disconnected, they tried to use the ult and then got taken down. Things have fallen apart here for Ignite. It is not looking good.
Jai uses ult and loses it immediately. And I think if you're Ignite, you have to make a swap right now. Supernova is going to get towards the ult, and as soon as you do, that you're gonna have to find a way to survive a Nano Blade. And unless you put it all on Iggy to hit a really nice sleep, they don't really have the means to do that.
No, you have no way of surviving this Nano Blade. It is going to be very, very difficult. It's a great anti-nade coming out from Iggy to push Bunny away, but that's all it does. Tracer swap coming in here from Ignite as well, but already Turtle Hacks has had to use the recall, and the point is still moving forward. There is the Nano Boost. Goes over on towards Teeny there, so they've decided not to put it onto their DPS, but in the meantime, Chappadoodle's in the back line with the Nano Boost of their own, building up towards that Primal Rage. Disengages for now, and it seems like there's a little bit of a lull in the fight.
Well, the entire time they've been pushing the point, so now it is one fight territory. If Supernova win this, they win the whole series. We see the rally come out, and here's the overclock, and oh no, it's all falling apart for Ignite.
Yeah, it's a great flank there from Liam. They're now on the high ground. They're taking shots at Iggy. The Dragon Blade comes through. They will be able to finish off Teeny. The Valkyrie will not be able to keep anyone alive through that, and this will be it. Supernova finish off map 2 in dominant style. Ignite will fall, and it will be a 2-0 victory to Supernova.
As close as map 1 was, I don't think that could have gotten much more one-sided. It simply was just perfection from Supernova on that Havana attack. They did so well on their defense. To a little bit of a lapse to lose first point, but again, the man, Bunny on the Genji, just did so well. So many first picks here.
Yeah, and I mean, if you are looking at the game as a whole, and I know it's a little bit early to call this here, but I think Bunny has to be the MVP for Supernova. Throughout this game, they have almost relied on Bunny to pull them out of some of the fights, pretty much got them map 1 in the end, and I just wonder if maybe map 1 losing in that closer fashion maybe played a bit of a role in Ignite's mental and maybe force them away from the compositions that they're more comfortable with.
Yeah, and again, everyone on Ignite is so talented, but I think they just weren't able to pull it together on Havana. I think that Supernova just showed that, like, with their team composition, how long they've been working together, their synergy just looked so much better. Like, they were taking perfect dives, Chappadoodle and Bunny going into the back line, securing picks, and for the most part, the rest of their team just doing what they need to do to stay alive. Like, the only lapse was pretty much Mutnik dying with the rally, but what can you do? Like, Mutnik is 100% the person who touches on that last point defense, unfortunately just gets asleep and doesn't get to use most of that rally, but I don't think it could have gone much better for them at any other point in that series.
No, and I mean, for Ignite, you really only won fights where someone like Jai was able to get 3 kills. Obviously, that was more on the second map. On the first map, it was really, really close, and I think that's where you see the individual skills of both of these teams are very, very similar. And so I think you can expect both of these teams to progress forward towards the LAN tournament.
It is scary though for Ignite. They're now 1-2, so they pretty much have to win out tomorrow in tomorrow's 3 games if they really want to like be competitive for that LAN. I think we've shown that they have the skill to do so, but it's going to be very hard. As you can see, we are done with all of the games today, and I believe we will get an update of the final standings in a little bit later, but guys, just remember, we are at the end of the day, so if you have not already, exclamation mark giveaway in the chat to be entered to win 2 Doki Watch bundles or 2 Ultimate Battle Passes. There's going to be 4 winners altogether. Thank you so much, Blizzard, for providing them to us. And yeah, looking at tomorrow's games, we still got heaps more time. So the teams that did not do well today have 3 more games tomorrow to make it up. And I wondered if Supernova will go 6-0 or if some of those other teams can topple them.
I mean, well, tomorrow we're starting off our stream with Supernova versus Kenwin with Great Friends, which is going to be an absolute banger. That is going to be the match of the day for me. I think it is just the teams that you want to watch out for, possibly to be in the grand final, and I think that could be your grand final like preview almost.
Yeah, it's going to be some amazing games that they're going to be playing tomorrow. I'm sure you'll have a great time casting them, Harry. I probably won't be here because we do have Jem, who was unfortunately too unwell to cast today, but I think they will be ready and rearing to go for tomorrow for some amazing games. I'll be cheering you guys on, probably from the Twitch chat tomorrow.
Well, it was still amazing to have you here and amazing for you to step in as well for our Fallen caster, but you are correct. We will be having Jem probably available tomorrow, hopefully all healed up. They hopefully are still feeling a little bit healthier. They were on the up and up as we were coming through. But before we go away, I think we have to talk about the play of the day for us here. And I mean, it has to be Tobo on the
I was
Tourbillon,
going to
right?
say Tovo. The
Yeah.
Tovo tour to save it for the team was absolutely amazing to see. So well done to Tobo for play of the day. And we will actually just talk about the final standings of today since we actually don't have a graphic for it. So 3-0 at the very top, we have Supernova. And then I believe we have. Oh, okay. Actually, I don't
Can
know.
win
I
with
think
great
these might be the
friends.
matches.
Second. So
Yeah.
I've got the standings
You got
up
the
here. I've got
standings.
them.
You've got
I've
it.
got
Take
them.
it up.
So Supernova are on top here, alongside Can win with great friends. They're both at 3-0 at the moment. However, Can win with great friends did lose a map in that, or both teams actually have lost a map in that time. Then you've got OCE's Most Wanted, who are 2-1, as well as Dougie's, who are 2-1. And then Monash Milkers, Ignite 1-2, with Swapping Sallies and Monash Merchants 0-3 at the moment, looking to pick up their first wins tomorrow. Who are we going to see progress through? Well, you'll have to find out tomorrow by tuning in back here at the same time that we started today. Same damn place. We will have you here. Thank you so much to everyone who has come by to the stream today. Thank you to all the players for participating in the first day of the tournament. We hope you had a great time so far, and there's only more Overwatch to be played. Massive thank you as well to production, who are behind the scenes here. Gat, Blaze, the producers and the observers, as well as Al for our moderating services here, and Corey as well, and Vertigo. Thank you so much for organizing this event, although we will have much more to say to you in regards to this event, because we're going to be thanking you every single time that we end one of these streams. So, massive thank you to all of the sponsors as well, True Apparel and Blizzard ANZ. Make sure you enter exclamation mark giveaway in the chat for your chance to go into the draw to win one of those battle passes or one of those starter packs as well. And massive thank you as well to Krez for showing up, being an amazing co-caster. It's always great to have you alongside me, Krez, and I couldn't ask for anyone better to fill in for Gem.
Thank you, Harry, for having me. It was great hearing you do all of your rapping. There was some pretty intense fights today, and you were talking for probably what felt like minutes at a time without even taking a breath. It's a pleasure to cast with you, and I'm excited to see you cast tomorrow as well.
That's right. Tune in tomorrow, guys, for more exciting Overwatch. More of the Melbourne Mash will be brought your way, and we will decide who will go through to our LAN qualifiers. But for now, take care. Good night.